A very good morning to all of you for joining us on the 10th guest webinar of Mission Smile. For people who are joining for the first time, Mission Smile stands for making new stock market investors learn it through engaging research. And today I'm very excited to welcome our guest, Mr. Koushik Mohan, who is very young, only 27-year-old, and still has more than 7-8 years of experience in the market. Call it serendipity. I met him a couple of weeks ago in Bangalore and was uh, I really liked his journey. I will not say much about him because I would want him to share a little bit about his journey before beginning his presentation. So we'll just let me just introduce the topic of today. Today we'll be discussing about forensic accounting, and as Kaushik has mentioned in his uh, title slide, which is playing with numbers, and we'll try to and we'll learn from him how to avoid common mistakes and save yourself from uncommon losses. So Kaushik, all over to you. You can now first start with your introduction, and then you can present your slide. However, before that, I'll just request everyone to please be on mute and switch off your video so that we can focus on the presentation. And each and everyone is encouraged to keep asking questions. You can put it on the chat box, or you can simply raise your hand. We'll make it very interactive. So even between the presentation, we'll take breaks and take your questions. So feel free to raise your hand and feel free to type on the chat box. Over to you, Kaushik.
So thanks for inviting me here. So I'll just give you a small introduction about myself. I started investing since 2013. So it was been something that I wanted to do it for my life, I think. So what happened was I'm from a business family. So I've seen my entire family doing business. I think I'm the one of the rarest person in my family who is into job. But every time I was fascinated that how can I be part of a business. That's where it comes like stock markets as the best place to for me to partner with very great entrepreneurs. So that's how I started investing and started learning about investing. So then I joined a company called as Mode Financials as an analyst, and ride my ladder from all the way from an intern to an fund manager over there. Currently, I'm in a sell side role with Ashika. So I started believing in investing. It's about numbers should talk to us something. Then only we'll understand what's the company is actually doing it. Or like we don't know, we don't have a lot of information to go and get the data, because only thing what is available for us is annual reports and con calls or something like we can actually go and talk to the distributors, dealers, and management once in the every quarter. So what I thought was like, yes, they are right, and we don't have a lot of things. Then how can we dig into the story behind the screen? So that's where I met one of the industry veteran who is very pioneer in forensic style of investing. Mm, I learned a lot from him, and then made myself that comfortably that numbers can actually talk to us, and there is some hacks to like to understand how numbers can actually speak to us. It's think numbers are something like your uh, hone wali like wife. It's like it takes you time for you to uh, get communicated, or like to be very close with your wife. So once you're very comfortable, right, they actually speak up to you in so much that you can actually understand them very well. So that's what I feel numbers are with me. So what I feel is like every time dig on to the places where actually you, by using common sense and general understanding of world, right, or like whatever things that we know, actually gives a lot of sense to do whatever we are doing it. So that is my intro. So I would like to start our presentation over here. My slide, which actually talks about playing with numbers. So we know there are like 4,500 companies listed in Indian stock markets, but we cannot actually like research on all the companies. We don't have ample of time. So that's where we have to be very clear with our time and what is our priorities. So then comes how can we actually dig on to this many companies, and we cannot actually work on all the companies. So that's where I thought, let's put one filter for myself, that if this filter comes out, let me work and deeper dive into the business model and what the company is doing. So that's the where I started putting any company with market cap greater than 500 crores is what I would love to look at it. Yes, there are a lot of opportunities below that, but what I feel, a market cap being greater than 500 crores is a comfortable information that I would get from all the regulators and whatever the things I have it. So from this filter, I'm already filtering out more than like 3,000 companies. I'm left out with 1,500 companies plus. This is my playing ground. Here, I would love to dig on to those companies that I would love to understand. So then again, I cannot actually go and see all these 1,500 companies. So there is another filter that I put it for myself: the companies or the businesses that I don't understand. For example, I don't understand financial companies. So what I do, I just remove all those financial companies. Mm, the businesses, very cyclical businesses. For example, it might be something like uh, paper industry. If I don't know the sector, if I don't know how things are working out there, I would just ignore them. And things what I love is actually there should be an input and there should be an output, so I can actually touch and feel. That means like something like manufacturing is my place to be in. That's where I love to look at the companies. And coming decade and this decade, whatever we are currently are, by seeing the government kind of incentives and things are going on, and the per capita income is currently around $2,000, which I feel if we have seen this thing same in US, Japan, China, and other all developing countries which have become developed countries now. Whenever the per capita income increases from $2,000, there has been a boom for the manufacturing sector, and there has been a boom for the consumption world. When there is a lot of consumption boom coming in, the kind of manufacturing behind it takes place is very high scale. And that's how China developed its all scalability in manufacturing. That's how we know railways and everything was constructed in 18s for US. So by all this, I feel this is the place that I need to be in, and this is the things that what I understand. So whenever the first thing what I'm actually from Bangalore. So outskirts of Bangalore, there's one industrial area called as Hosur, which is Tamil Nadu border for me. There is a company called as Gemini Autos. That's the first company that I bought it in 2013. But I was completely wrong by getting into the stock because I was actually at a higher valuations. Then again, the second idea or second business that came to my ears was PI Industries. I think I'm being very lucky over there because there was a friend who introduced me to PI Industries, and he told me that it's a multi plant where one plant can produce more than 29 drugs. Currently it's 32 drugs. So I was like fascinated, how can one plant produce this many different that's kind of diversified company it is. So I like that. By just listening to these words, right, and some basic number checks, that what I did it, I was fascinated and I've invested. I read actually from 2014 is what I bought the company. Till date, I am actually holding it. Whatever the physical assets that I have built it for myself is actually from PI Industries. So this is what I would love to share it here. And in the presentation, let's and go and see like how things are. How can we actually analyze a company? This is first slide what I'm actually talking about: wealth creation. And this is normal compounding formula. Everyone can see here, A is equal to P into 1 plus R to the power T. most of us in investing, everyone focus on R, and R is what everyone, I need this much return, or like I need 200% return or 300%. I need to double my money in every 2 years or 3 years. That's what fascinatingly everyone tells to me. But I would tell, majorly you focus on T, so that any stock or any company or any business that you are with, right? You actually compound your money. You can find your multi-baggers there only. You just talk about T, R will come into your place, and majorly that you have to take into consideration is also P. P का मतलब ये होता है, like you have to invest as much as capital so that you can take the return of this entire formula. Look at P as separate and look as 1 plus R to the power T as separate. This 1 plus R to the power T is it can be like in your favor, but if you don't have higher allocation in that stock or that business, you may not take the benefit of this. Think like this, X and Y components. If you have highest weight in one stock and the business is doing mediocre, still you'll create wealth. If you are into an great business having less allocation, still you will make, in portfolio levels you'll make it greater. So you should decide which is your area and where do you need to focus. And I would insist everyone to focus on T, and R will actually say, don't do just don't do some mistakes. That's all. Common mistakes, don't do some common mistakes. R will actually fall into your picture. So there was an article which was published in Money Control by Mode PMS. Here, money lost by investors. In last 4 years, this article came in 2021. In last 4 years, from 2018 to 2021, we had seen like mid and small cap drawdown, and then again their recovery was like fantastic. Again we saw COVID, again we saw 2021 ka rally. So in these 4 years we saw two cycles, and short term cycles, but we saw it two cycles. Everyone were talking about the wealth that they created in this market and the kind of returns they were talking. Everyone talk about their success stories, but let me give an example. There are just, I took top 20 companies in last 4 years who have destroyed their wealth. Look at the kind of wealth destruction has happened. Totally 60,000 crores in the last 4 years was lost by 20 companies. If you just increase this data to 50 companies, the wealth is 1 lakh crores has been lost from Indian markets. Everyone talk about this much kind of wealth, and market cap to GDP ratio has been not towards 120 and 130. It has been increased, but people are forgetting the wealth has been destroyed. And the common things what we can find with all of these 20 companies are very, very clear. Common finding is like retail investors are the highest holders on the businesses. CFO expectations problem, like cash flow from operations are highly volatile, and their expectations are like very wrong for their businesses. And majority of the businesses all are cyclical businesses. In cyclical, they were seeing the last cycle how wealth was created, and they actually entered at a higher valuations. So there is a trap. If person looks at P valuations, like if he feels like, okay, this stock is around 4p and it's a good entry point, they actually forget that 4p is actually currently it's a 4p. That means that it is a lowest p. No, for cyclical business, 4p is an highest p, and 40 or 50p is actually lowest p. I would explain how does it work in the coming slides. And then one more common finding in all these 20 companies where promoter pledging was very, very, very high. So by these are like just four common mistakes that I've found. In this 20 companies, there are some missing data that I haven't taken. In 2021, we had a lot of IPOs that I haven't taken. Those kind of wealth distraction happened in IPOs. LIC IPO I haven't taken. Paint companies, yes, we know that Grasim and other companies coming into paint sector, how the paint sector has lost their market caps and all we have seen. Small cap companies collapse. Yes, there were a lot of small cap companies collapse in this duration. Then again, we know diagnostic sector. Everyone will remember diagnostic sector. COVID ka boom was very very high, and after a non-COVID revenue coming into picture, people were like, why should we pay this kind of multiples for this company? And entire distraction happened in diagnostic sector. Then we also saw the IT companies till now. In the last 2022 year, we know that IT is the underperformer in the Nifty 50 construction of sector wise. So that these are the data that I haven't taken. If you even add this data and if you look at investors, the kind of the wealth has been lost is very very high. And excuse me. And we all everyone actually talk about we made a specific company, or for example, I have invested in Serigamapa and have made lot of wealth, but they only focus on a single stock. They don't focus on the portfolio return. Recently I was in Mumbai, met one of my friend, an investor, very good investor. When I asked what is the kind of performance that he got it, then he mentioned me that he made it around 12% returns in the last 2 years. So I was triggered for myself, like why people are not able to make returns when there is a bull market. Still people were not able. I'm giving just one example, but I had multiple examples for myself, asking a lot of people what is their portfolio returns. They actually talk about their winners, but they don't talk about their losers. So I was very fascinated. How can I remove those kind of losers from start only before I invest into their companies? So so I would show the some kind of hacks that you can use it for yourself and avoid those kind of mistakes that can be damaging for your portfolio. So everything that we focus, or like with the data that we have taken here, is from cash flows, profit and loss, balance sheet, annual reports, management commentary, industry numbers, what we get it from a lot of industry websites or journals, credit rating report. This is enough for us data. This data actually talks. This 80 percentage of the business can be understood by just by analyzing these statements. 20% ka mehnat, 80% results comes into your play. So let's get into first cash flow from cash flow statement. In cash flow, whenever someone starts the business, right, he actually starts with a cash flow statement only. There is nothing like P&L or a balance sheet comes into his play. He actually starts, whenever he thinks about a business, he actually starts with an cash flow. First he need to collect some capital for himself to do the business. So that's where financing activity come into play. He will get some capital, and with that capital he is investing into assets, and that assets will create some sales, and that sales will create some operating profits. So that's how the in the beginning of the stage of the business, financing cash flow, then comes investing cash flow, then comes operating cash flow. And after the business keeps on running, right, then comes the operating activity, then comes whatever the money that you have made it from your own business, internal cash. You are going to invest some into your investments, and if you're still left out with the money, then you are going to pay it for your financing activity. That might be like you would have taken a debt, you would have you're going to repay your debt, or you are going to give dividends, or you're buying back your shares. That comes into financing activity. So focusing on one statement, that to cash flow from cash flow statement is more important than any other statement that you can look into. So I have an example over here, cash flow from operating activities. So just briefly, if I wanted to calculate what is cash flow from operations, a brief formula that you can take it is net profit plus depreciation and amortization minus working capital changes. Just do this mota, you will get an cash flow from operations from the business. What you do is just simple, that CFO divided by net profit greater than 1. If you think for every 1 rupee of the profit what you make in the net profit terms, if your cash flow is greater than that, that means that it is qualified. I have an example of three companies over here, and three are all these three companies are from the same sector. They're actually from a paint sector, and they all are from the same sector. Look at these companies, like company A, company B, and company C. By looking at this chart, would anyone like to answer that which company they would be interested to be invested in? Ankit, would you like to answer this?
Any anyone? Kaushik, you have already shared the presentation with me, so I would not like to
Got
uh,
it.
give the answer. I'm seeing a lot of people giving the answer on the chat box. Let me just read it out to you.
Yes.
Uh, just a second. So I see a lot of people saying B. So I see uh, Pramod saying company B, Jignesh saying company B, and Vishant saying company B, and
Yes.
Sunny saying company B.
That's really good answer that they have given. So I've just taken last 10 years data and just did this. Majority of the time, green is coming to B, and B company. Let me tell you, in 2022, if you had invested your money in 2021 and 2022, this company's stock price performance is down. But when it comes to the March 2011 till date, their performance is really great. They have become a multi-baggers for a lot of people, a lot of investors in the industry. They actually talk about this stock day and out everywhere to the investors. Like they just a lot of people only talk about B as a great investment for their that they made it in the past. So look at this job. In March 2021 and March 2022, what happened to this company? In the stock price performance, they were very underperformer. When it comes to the company B, the competitor of this, they were also underperforming, not up to the company B, but company C. Look at this. They haven't qualified this simple ratio for us, and only one time they have qualified it. But this company has skyrocketed their stock prices. The stock price return are like fantastic for company C, and ironically, company B's management was buying its stake from the market. Company A's management was not doing anything, but company C's management was actually selling their stake in the market. And also there was they increased their slightly, there was an increase in their pledge holding also. So this is very very common ratio, but led to an stock price performance. But still, company sees stock price is going up, but when it comes to fundamentally looking at their numbers, they're not very right for us. So think very simple. Cash flow from operations is like net profit plus depreciation minus working capital changes. When net profit से ज़्यादा रहना है, cash flow from operations greater than one is what the formula tells, and we are adding some major amount to that and only deducting some working capital changes. Is company pay? By just looking at this formula and the company C, we can understand there is some problem in working capital changes. So we have to dig on to their working capital changes a lot and then understand what is the problem in their working capital changes. Is a payment related problem? Is there receivable problem, or is it like an inventory problem? We have to get in very clear clarifications on working capital. Then only you can look into C as a company as a potential investment if you are looking at, or an A or an B, anything, any company that you are looking at. This is the number that is very very important. This is the number that very very important focus should be going on. So let me give here an example. Today we actually speak about investing in a lot of companies, right? Let me give an example. Think like this. There are two people in market. One is an experienced person and another one is an non-experienced person with, but he's a wealthy guy. Over the time, right? Wealthy becomes an experienced person, and person become a wealthy person over the time in stock markets. That's going to be the golden rule of stock markets. If you can get yourself experienced by analyzing a lot of companies and their kind of things, what happens in their numbers, that would help you to take a better decision for yourself. So I would go for a live example, something like this. Here I have a company's cash flow from operation being positive, but their free cash flows being negative. What is free cash flows? Is very very simple number. Just take cash flow from operations minus fixed assets purchases. If you just do this, if it is positive number, that is called as free cash flows. If it is a negative number, that is called negative free cash flow. For this company, JK Cements, you can look up from the day one till date, their fixed assets purchased is actually increasing. That means that they are negative free cash flow company. But when you look at their stock performance, they haven't performed relatively better than index also. But what has happened over here? fixed assets are purchasing, that means that they are putting their money into the capex, and that capex should actually create into asset turn should happen there, and that asset turn should actually lead to an sales, and that sales need to lead to an margins, that is net profit margins, and that again net profit margins is nothing but cash flow from operations, that again should be positive, greater, there should be a day at least should be greater, and that again this cycle again repeats. That means that this company is actually needing more money than their operating cash flows, and they are actually taking this money from their financing activity or their investing activity by selling some asset, or they're taking it from the financing activity, they're funding from there. This is a company, and I will give the same example with the same logic but a different company. These Avenue Supermarts, look at their cash flow from operations. They're actually growing, and with their fixed asset purchase is also growing. But their fixed asset purchase is greater than their operating cash flow. They're again a negative free cash flow company. If it is a negative free cash flow company, that is very simple. That it's a high growing company. There might be like growth opportunities very very high. When you look at stock price performance relative to the Nifty 50 or Nifty 500 or Nifty or you can look at JK Cement. Avenue Supermarts have performed greater in terms of returns than it comes to other two indices, or it might be JK Cement I'm talking about. Why has this happened? Excuse me. This is very very simple. This company has actually created an asset, and that asset is actually created sales, and that sales has actually created margins. This cycle has happened, but when it comes to JK Cement, the simple incident what happened is that whatever they were doing their asset, right, they were actually writing off their assets every year. So by this, what happened? Their asset was increasing, but not up to the percentage of their fixed assets purchase has increased. So when you cumulative this number and look at the cumulative number and looking at the gross asset, they were very very simple. Just add a fixed assets purchase cumulative number and take a gross asset number. You can see the difference. If it is your cumulative fixed asset purchase is very high than the gross asset number, that means that you have sold your asset. So there are,
Kaushik,
yes,
I have a question here, as
yes,
in you're talking about a cement company, and
yes,
I'm sure there are other cement companies also who have a similar kind of structure, wherein even though the cash flow from operation is high, but they consistently reinvest in their business to create more capacity, and you will probably see, if not zero or negative, but very low FCF, right? So if you
yes,
can go to the screener and share
yes,
some
yes. Yeah,
other
I got
cement
it.
companies. I think
Got it.
the all the as in attendees would really
Sure, sure.
get more out of it.
I would love to do that also. Like, let me get over here. So in screener, simple thing is that we have our peers over here in the same place. Let's look at their peers also, what is happening. Let's come into their cash flows. Look at their operating cash flows are actually growing very well. But look at their investment is also very, very, very well going. It's very simple in this sector, right? This is needed. The growth is very high. They need to put on their capex and they need to grow their business. But when it comes to JK Cement, precisely what is happening, their entire business, whatever they have it in this purchases, right? And look at their balance sheet as their gross block. Look at their gross block. It is 9,000 crores. 9,000 crores. But when it comes to cash flows, just add up all of this, it will this will be if you add up all of this, and I have the data for since the inception, because I use the data from Ace Equity. Their fixed asset purchase is greater than their gross block. That means this company has actually sold some of its assets. So it's very peculiarly for JK Cement. They have actually sold their asset and they have written off their assets. So here I have given an example for it. That's the reason I have taken Avenue Supermarts. Let me show it for Avenue Supermarts. Look at demand. Look at operating cash flows. and look at the kind of fixed assets purchase. Again, it is a negative working capital company. When it comes to the gross block, look at their gross block. It's 11,000 crores. If you add up all of this, this is fixed assets purchase is lower than their gross block. That means that the company has kept their assets. They haven't write off their asset. If they are actually matching each other, that is also fine. That means that there are some kind of entry of an asset has come and gone out. It's a clear cut accounting thing that you have to look at. But this simple logic, right? When you look at, you're investing a lot of into your assets, but that asset is not creating sales, and but still you, in the hope of sorry, in the hope of you will be creating valuations, or like in the hope of you'll be like making greater margins, you are putting so much of capex, or you're putting so much growth numbers in front of analysts, and but still you're not able to prove in the duration of like 10 years or 12 years. That means that it's better that you try to avoid this kind of companies. So it's like having positive free cash flows is okay, good, great, but having a negative free cash flow company and telling that it is bad company to be invested, that's wrong. If again you're having a negative free cash flow company, but their fixed assets are being written off, then that is actually bad thing is happening. So be very clear which item is called bad and which item is called good, or like you can call it as a red flag, or you can call it as a green flag. Sorry, my mom is cooking something. That masala is making me to do this.
So, Kaushik, let me just ask our audience if there are any questions we can
Yes, yes.
probably see.
Sure, sure.
Anyone with any question, you can raise your hand or maybe uh, put it on the chat box. Okay, we can take break in between and take up your questions. So I see one comment from Vishant. People camouflage revenue expense as capital, thereby improving CFO. Yeah, that's a very valid point, Vishant. Agree. Yeah.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
It was not a question. It was basically a comment where you see a lot of CFO being very high. Yeah, I think Vishant has raised his hand. Let me unmute him.
Yes.
Yeah, Vishant, go ahead. Vishant, I've unmuted you. You can go ahead. Vishant?
Yeah, hello. I'm
Yeah.
audible no, now?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Sushan.
Yeah. So just wanted to check one thing. This has been always a practice by big manufacturing companies where they do something in the nature of R and repairs and maintenance, and then capitalize in the name of capex. So, and is there any particular tool which you are using in order to get those boys out of the club?
Okay. So let me tell what I use it for myself. If there is incremental capex is happening, or like it is not a maintenance capex, how do I find it? It is a maintenance capex or not? I'll just take what is the total capex number minus the depreciation. What I do, but I'll do it for a cumulative. I cannot do it for 1 year, and I can tell this. I'll do it for like at least for last 10 years, and I'll look at it. If the capex, current capex is greater than the maintenance capex, that means that this capex is actually going to create an asset. That's very, very clear. It's going for creating an asset. And I would actually take historically what is the asset turns, fixed asset turns. I'll not even look at working capital asset turns or total asset turns. I'll look at fixed asset turns. By having this much for every 1 rupee of fixed asset, how much sales am I generating? I'll look at a fixed asset turns. I will look at gross asset turns also. I will look at fixed asset turns also. Then, as per the kind of industry norms are going on, or like by looking at the peers, what is the clearly the fixed asset turns that I have to take? I would take around 20-30% margin of safety for myself on asset turns, and then actually multiply this number into capex into the fixed asset turns, and then get the sales. I would just wait for the management to prove for me in coming next 1 or 2 years, because today the capex will not be generating tomorrow revenue. So it will be like an vesting period of 1 year or 1.5 year. So I would just wait for that 1 year and 1.5 year. Look at the track that company very closely. Is that asset being converted into sales? That's where I'll start taking positions in the company. If that happens, then again, are they actually doing that sales aggressive sales to just to create their book of sales. There I would look at receivables as one more thing. Are they giving huge discounts, or are they going for receivables? It's like, okay, you pay me later, and now you can buy the asset. If that is again growing by this incremental sales are coming up, there again I'll be cautious. But if that is not happening, and if it is being a cash sale, and it is also not only being cash sale, that cash sale attend greater higher value added product, something like we have seen in our recent past, tips industries are actually their musics were sold at very high valuations. If you How did I come to know this? Was very lucky. I had one of my friend, he's a producer in Andhra, Hyderabad. So I met him, and he was producing one of his movie, and that movie rights were actually sold to tips industries. When this incident was happening, I was luckily in Hyderabad with the investor. uh, so when speaking to him, it was like being very, every time I learned from him. So speaking to him, and then this tips industries person come to them and pitch him that, okay, you give the rights to us. That's where I understood that tips industries are actually buying the rights at a higher valuation. That means that they are expecting these rights will actually create better in the future. So there I was fascinated. Then again, that tick of non-manipulation thing came to me, and then I was looking at, okay, tips. They are doing numbers, but I'm not invested, to be very honest. Uh, this is how you have to check your data. That is it actually a clear-cut sale, or is it actually manipulated sale? If it is again manipulated sale, again there are a lot of things that company can do it on that side also. I can show you hundreds of different examples how they can actually book the sales, but that entire book only will be like a forgery book or something. So
Great.
I answered your
So
this, Henry.
yeah, so I think that brings me to another question where I've seen one company. Let me give the name because that is in public domain. Eros Media.
Okay.
They 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 amortize the broadcasting rights in 9 years. This was when I saw for the first time, I was like, what the hell they are doing? So you understand what I'm trying to say, because today you
Yes.
buy a movie that will be a stale probably next 2 or 3 months or 4 months maximum,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
they're talking about 9 years. So how so basically, although the profit might look fascinated, and then
Yes.
again that CFO at to capex will also look okay, that is also fascinated, but
Perfect.
the reality is totally different.
Yes. So either na like works out. Like मैं तो like yesterday I went to a movie with my sister. So Chiranjeevi movie was released, and today's festival for us very big. So my sister is a big fan of Chiranjeevi. Yesterday we went to the movie. Movie life, I simply by watching the movie we can understand it. It's like it's going to be for 1 year or 2 years maximum. वो जो भी rights आएगा वो Netflix खरीदेगा, नहीं तो Prime खरीदेगा, और like any other player will buy the rights.
सर अपने यहाँ पे
And
टेलीग्राम
they
यहाँ पे टेलीग्राम भी चलता है.
that is true. So by taking that one asset right, and they are actually amortizing this asset for next 20 years or 30 years, telling this will actually this will create me an sale in future. That's actually wrong. Then you actually know it might be industry norms उन लोग करना पड़ेगा. Then you know this logic, ये तो हो नहीं सकता है. Then you create company का खुद का balance sheet, P&L, cash flows.
Okay.
उसी नंबर्स पे यू टेक द लॉजिकल डिसीजन. ओके, अभी मेरे लिए रिटर्न्स बन रही है क्या, नहीं बन रही है क्या, और वॉट एवर द रेशियोस आर लुकिंग फॉर मी, इज इट एक्चुअली इन फेवरेबल फॉर मी और नॉट. यू कैन नॉट एक्चुअली डिपेंड ऑन वॉट एवर द नंबर्स आर गिवन बाय द कंपनी. वो नंबर्स ना उनके रूल्स एंड अकॉर्डिंग ही चलता है. एवरी टाइम क्रिएटिंग वन ऑफ योर बैलेंस शीट और वन ऑफ योर P&L विल टेक, मतलब पूरा बिजनेस का नॉलेज होगा तो ही आपको आपका बिजनेस के लिए बैलेंस शीट, P&L और कैश फ्लो बना सकते हो. It will be very big task, but एक टाइम का काम है, but it will be like rewarding in the future. So why again I love manufacturing companies, क्यों तो मेरे लिए इनपुट और आउटपुट होती है ना, इजीली समझ में आ जाता है बैलेंस शीट कैसे बनती है और P&L कैसे बनती है और कैश फ्लोज. सो दैट इज बीन माय सर्कल ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंस टू बी इन.
सर आपने अगर कहीं पे बेनिशम स्कोर या ऐसा कुछ भी अगर प्रेजेंटेशन में डाला है, दैट विल आल्सो बी यूजफुल.
सॉरी सर,
बिकॉज सिंस यू आर फ्रॉम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, सो कहीं पे भी अगर बेनिशम स्कोर वगैरह भी अगर प्रेजेंटेशन में डाला है, या फिर give us some
So I haven't, I don't
some
have it, but sure, I will share this with.
आप डिस्कस कर सकते हैं सर.
Yes, I can discuss and I will share जो भी कंपनी का बैलेंस शीट में खुद क्रिएट किया हो. For example, currently I'm very bullish on one of the company. Disclaimer, I hold it. And this company's balance sheet P&L जो भी दिखता है कंपनी के अकॉर्डिंग इज टोटली डिफरेंट. उनका asset valuations और उनका sales valuations, if you take it, and the kind of their they book their the revenue, right? It's very very different, and I book their revenue is different. Again, I can give one more example. It's an hotel industry business. Here I'll take an example because I did this in 2020 and 2021. So this company is Mahindra Holidays. Mahindra Holidays used to book their revenues by telling that I am selling 25 years का membership, and this membership is for 25 years, and मेरा पूरा भी जो भी पैसा आ जाएगा divided by 25, and ये जाके मेरा balance sheet में revenue recognition जैसे जाके बैठेगा. It's an unearned revenue for me, but it will come to the P&L statement over a period. But there is a Ind AS आ गया, there is a new revenue recognition policy came into existence. Company previously was doing right, that was right. कि तो आज revenue recognize हो गया, but that revenue will be coming into P&L statement over the period. That is perfectly right. But company अभी Ind AS आने के new policy आने के, the company have to take this entire unearned revenue, उनको ना एक surplus statement बना के they have to pass on all of those things to their P&L पे. So that is the reason if you see their presentation also, they have Ind AS, and before Ind AS whatever their numbers were looking, they have their entire numbers over there. And whatever the revenue they recognize it, right? They are doing it now currently in 5 years, but that is illogical. But according to accounting terms, उनको करना पड़ रहा है. Just by going and looking at their
So
fascinating numbers being.
Kaushik, this is a business which I have been tracking since long. So I'll explain with much more clarity over here,
Yes,
because
yes.
maybe some of the audience would not have got it. So prior to Ind AS 118 and 119 coming into the picture, what the company was doing was कि आप 25 year की policy नहीं 25 year की membership बेच रहे हो, and they used to say अगर 100 rupees का membership बेचा, they used to book 60% of that in the first year itself.
Yes.
saying that कि हमारा सारा खर्चा तो upfront होता है, so why will I not book it? So 60% को upfront book करते थे और 40% को amortize करते थे over 25
Over
years.
25 years.
So with that, what they were doing, actually they were borrowing future income today into the P&L. So that is why the
So their
profits were
sales are
looking-
very booming number.
Exactly. So profits were very high.
Yes.
ROE बहुत अच्छा दिखता था. ये सब प्रॉब्लम थी. बट जैसे Ind AS 1189 आया, उसके बाद उनका
पूरा
सब चेंज
change
हो
हो
गया.
गया.
वो and now what you see is the clear picture.
Actually,
Right?
now it is 25 का 25 दिखता है. This
Right,
revenue is
right.
not boomed up, it is like compressed down.
Exactly.
And now
Exactly.
the revenue, whatever looks like, it's logical number. यही ना हमको
Right.
पिछले भी करना था.
Right.
So whatever revenue, इस manual level का data नहीं मिलेगा. So what we can do is very simple. We can just assumptions को लेके जा सकते हैं. We can in stats we have learned something called as skewness of data and normal distribution. Distributions
Right.
are like crazily helpful. Mean reversion का concept है. And if we understand how probability works out over there in distribution, tails को कैसे निकाल पाएंगे, and whatever the remaining data उसमें excuse me, उसमें क्या probability पे like which place my number of this one observations match, that is mode, मेरा mode पे किधर ज़्यादातर data fall हो रही है, and मेरा mean how they are deviating from their standard deviations. If we just do this for the numbers, right, exact numbers whatever we are getting उनका annual report में we are getting how many people are there coming into their every year. सालाना कितना लोग उनका क्लाइंट बन रहे वो तो डेटा मिलता है. So we can आराम से assume, okay, let's assume this entire clients being ये 25 year वाला है खरीद रहा है. So just take ना revenue को divide कर दो उतना number of clients पे, then you will get उनका per person का, and इस साल का per person into that number of this one, you will tell this is the revenue for this year. and इसकी revenue से इतना cost बनती है और इतना profit बनती है, and that's where you get your profit. When you get your profit, that will go to equity side of your balance sheet, reserves and surplus पे जाती है, and then again in your balance sheet you can actually show your unearned revenue which is going to come for over the years. Whether balance sheet will look mota and your P&L will look depressed and your cash flows will look very very big mota because upfront तुम्हारा पैसा आ रही है.
One more important point is that your accounting book value will be very low,
Very high.
because
Very
of your because of the this thing, it will be low. Accounting book value will be low because a lot of that deferred revenue, that 5,000 crore
sorry.
of deferred
Okay,
revenue,
okay. You're talking
will be
from that point.
deducted from your
Yes.
assets, right?
Yes,
But your
yes.
economic book value would be probably higher than your
Higher.
accounting book value.
Yes.
So आप प्राइस टू बुक में देखोगे तो ये कंपनी हमेशा बहुत ज्यादा हाई ट्रेड कर रही होगी.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And it's अरे everyone, someone looks like normal screener पे जाके देख लिया, price to book बहुत ज्यादा देख लिया, अरे यार बहुत expensive कंपनी है, नहीं जाना है. अरे नहीं, नंबर को क्लीन करो. क्लींजिंग ऑफ डेटा इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट इन दिस काइंड ऑफ कंपनीज. और लाइक आई विल शो यू वन मोर एग्जांपल. इज माय ट्रिप देखा है सब लोग ने?
या बहुत पॉपुलर है.
व्हाई इज नॉट
उनका IT expenses is very interesting, being a
yes,
platform
their IT
company.
expenses are very interesting, their revenue recognition is very interesting. I don't know my
Go ahead.
my
Koushik, you can share that example if you want. Yeah.
it's I don't know, my मेरा system पे I'm not able to type the this one only. Keys पे I'm not able to type.
Just write EAS, it will
No,
come.
it's not working only. A is not working only. I'm trying that only.
Oh, okay.
Any other way that we can do it? This okay? I'm not able to show.
Just type.
It's not working.
I think
Okay, it came.
easy trip planners. Yeah, this one.
Look at the companies. This one. इधर दिख रहा है आपको सब लोग को, like 2011 से 2015 तक the company and 2016 तक the revenue recognition was actually इनकी कंपनी पे मस्त revenue recognition का case study we can do. Company was recognizing the revenue as very simple. जो भी मैंने टिकट सेल किया वो मेरा पूरा रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इनको वेबसाइट में 100 रुपीज का टिकट सेल होगा तो 100 रुपीज का रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन पूरा क्लियर कट. इन लोग ने चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ने देखा, बोला भैया तू क्या बोल रहे, तेरा रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन पूरा अमाउंट कैसे बन गया? तुम्हारा प्राइस टू सेल्स पे, कंपनी का प्राइस टू सेल्स, इफ यू डू इट एंड सी, यू आर लुकिंग सो अट्रैक्टिव ऑन योर प्राइस टू सेल्स वैल्यूएशंस.
Let me just clarify, Koushik. I'm just repeating because maybe some people might not have got it.
Yes.
If you go to their platform, buy a ticket of 100 rupees, and they will be making something around say 2 rupees or 3 rupees on that ticket, but they will book 103 rupees as their revenue. Okay. So that is what Koushik wants to say here.
So,
yeah,
Abhi, for example, if we go for Make My Trip, and if I actually book a flight for myself, flight ka ticket might be 7,000 rupees from Bangalore to Mumbai, so which I have recently traveled while going, but while coming I lost my flight and it's been a big story for myself. So while it is 7,000 rupees. 7,000 rupees is the revenue recognized by Make My Trip. What logic? Actually, Make My Trip was just a portal to me and Indigo Airlines just to book that flight. But actually the price 7,000 should be recognized by Indigo, not by Make My Trip. So Make My Trip ka place mein you just replace Ease My Trip. Ease My Trip was booking the revenue of 7,000, and whenever someone was looking like, because I am mad at one ratio which is like price to sales. I love this ratio. I'll explain you in my coming slides. I have 3 examples for that because this ratio has been very beautifully worked for me. This company looks price to sales पे for every price what the market was quoting divided by उनका sales पे. This was looking very undervalued. They were looking like, अरे यार 0.3 पे you are getting this company's sales are like crores पे है, and the company is just available at 200 crores of whatever the valuations that you can talk about. It's available 0.2 0.3 पे company was available. No, actually company बहुत महंगा पे था. In this company you have to cleanse the sales ratio or sales number only. You should just book company ये portal provide करने के लिए कितना price charge करती है, service charge, that is the actual revenue for the company. So every business what you understand actually the business is, and उसके वजह से कितना sales बनती है ना, that is what is sales. And उस सेल्स पे कॉस्ट को माइनस करो, और कॉस्ट, बी अग्रेसिव विद कॉस्ट. आई वुड लव टू बी अग्रेसिव विद कॉस्ट. तुमको ना फ्यूचर का भी कॉस्ट आज भी डालेगा, डालो, चलेगा भैया. आज का कॉस्ट नहीं, फ्यूचर का भी कॉस्ट डालेगा, चलेगा. बट रेवेन्यू पे ना, कल का रेवेन्यू आज मत दिखाओ. शो टुडेस रेवेन्यू एज टुडेस रेवेन्यू, कल का रेवेन्यू एज कल का रेवेन्यू. लेट इट बी इन सिटिंग इन बैलेंस शीट एंड लुक योर प्राइस टू बुक वैल्यू हाइपर बहुत बड़ा दिखेगा, बट चलेगा. But revenue पे, see, in revenue also ना, there is another Sera sanitary ware, fantastic example. Sera पे what was happening in Sera? Sera was actually having very good revenue. उनका जो भी revenue था, उनका product mix पे, when you look at their products mix, there are like two kinds of revenue that you can book in a company. One is called as manufacturing revenue, and another one is called as trading revenue. This is stock in trade. तो किसी का ब्रांड माल उठा के कंप्लीट माल को उठाएगा और उसी पे तुम्हारा ब्रांडिंग डालेगा एंड यू आर सेलिंग इट. इट्स जस्ट अ ट्रेडिंग बिजनेस. इट्स कॉल्ड स्टॉक इन ट्रेड. When you look at the gross margins, right, between Sera sanitary ware of their actual manufacturing business or trading business ka, there was a point their trading business ka gross margins were higher than their manufacturing this thing. How can this be possible? उस साल ना मैं ये डेटा देखने के बाद तो I was confused what's happening for this business. I think it is in 2016 or 2015 this happened. Their trading business gross profits are greater than their manufacturing. Then I was like, अरे shut down your entire manufacturing unit, just इसको ऑर्डर दो और उससे लेके इधर ही तुम्हारा चिपका ना रहो और बेचो, क्योंकि तुम्हारे नाम पे आ रहा है इतना पैसा. I was fascinated. Then again उनका ना अगले साल का रिपोर्ट आया, अगले साल का एनुअल रिपोर्ट आया, एंड व्हेन यू सी देयर ओल्ड नंबर्स, राइट, जो भी अगले साल का पीछे वाला नंबर्स, फॉर एग्जांपल देयर आर 2 years का नंबर्स यू विल गेट इन एनुअल रिपोर्ट. आई थिंक 2016 वाज द ईयर दैट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. 2017 का एनुअल रिपोर्ट में 2016 का भी नंबर्स होती है, एंड 2016 ऑफ दैट नंबर एंड 2016 ऑफ 2016 एनुअल रिपोर्ट वेयर नंबर्स वर डिफरेंट. Then we again the dates I'm wrong, but this is with Sera sanitary ware. You can go and check it. Which year I am forgetting. So when we went and spoke to the management, they told that okay, there was some data wrong, and we intimated to SEBI. And naya annual report bhi udhar hai available hai. I think the place where you downloaded naya annual report available nahi tha. So this can also happen. Like look at their trading business, look at their manufacturing business. Manufacturing business का ज़्यादा normal, manufacturing का profit margins तुम्हारा ज़्यादा रहना है gross profit level पे. Trading का actually कम रहेगा because you're outsourcing your work to someone else, and trading you're telling margins मेरे लिए कम बनेगा तो भी चला गया ना, मेरे लिए मेरा नाम का टिपका से चलना. Vidhi Specialty is another good example. You can actually look at their business also for trading and manufacturing concept. If you wanted to go on broader level, you wanted to see this as an example. You can look at another choppel making company. They are into footwear. Mayur Unicorn. This is crazy company. Mayur Unicorn UK business is actually holds the franchise of Red Tape. There is an Indian company who sells entire the Red Tape franchisee to the Mayur Unicorn UK company. But whenever we think, whenever someone is an investor in India who is buying Red Tape shoes, and he feels that okay, this revenue will be booked in the Mayur Unicorn. No, that is wrong. Mayur Unicorn का Mayur Unicorn पे आता नहीं, Mayur Unicorn UK पे आता है revenue पूरा recognition. And entire buying and उनका inventory management सब कुछ Mayur Unicorn पे पड़ता है. And Mayur Unicorn buys the raw material from again their own subsidiary, 100% own subsidiary promoter का. There is another crazy thing. Mayur Unicorn promoter actually signed their this one loan के लिए they have given a guarantee authority. You know, every year the promoters are actually charging guarantee fees every year. उनके एनुअल रिपोर्ट में ये क्लियर कर दिखते 1 crore.
You're talking about Mirza International.
Sorry, Mirza International. Why am I talking? Sorry. I am. It's my bad.
I was getting confused why you are talking my. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
It's Mirza International.
Yeah.
It's my bad. I'm sorry. I was reading my unicorn, so suddenly it came out. Oh, leather
Yeah.
kind
Thank
it
you.
came out from my mouth.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Sumit, for helping us. Yeah. Let's go ahead.
Mirza
Koushik,
International.
maybe you can maybe now also go back to the presentation so that, yeah,
Yes, yes.
you finish this example and then we can go
Yeah.
back to the.
So Mirza International as actually recognizing, asking management company, Mirza International companies, this one, they're telling that I need once year or exact amount, I don't remember, as an interest because I have actually signed your guarantee for getting an loan. सो भैया ये तुम्हारा धंधा है, तुम उस पे ये आके बोल रहे हो लाइक आई एम साइनिंग इट फॉर योर गारंटी. 1 year is fine. Every year for last many years is why is this need to be done? So this again raise and red flag for yourself. And now Mirza International told that okay, that UK wala business will be separate and the trade will be separate and this will be separate, and that's the reason when this happened you saw all the way okay, company has realized what the mistakes they have done and the valuation started skyrocketing for them. So bad thing happened and they were covering up their bad, and once away they tell to the public that okay, we are removing all of that and we are becoming clean, then re-rating valuations comes into picture. So I'll come back to my presentation
So
for more.
I have a very good as in understanding of this pattern is that first they complex the things.
Yes,
First they make it complicated, right?
yes,
And then they will simplify. That is how
yes,
value creation happens in many of the companies. So, but that will only be happening for a very short period
short
of time.
duration.
So be very careful. I'm not trying to take any names. I have not looked at Mirza International in detail. I'm just trying to say this theme which I have observed, that there will be many companies and even many groups, business groups, who have this formula of they first make everything very, very, very complicated, and then market will not touch it because it is so complicated. And then one fine day they'll say that okay, we'll simplify everything. So just because of simplifying for a short period of time, market will look at it in a very, very, very positive way. But you as an investor have to understand that this is just a short-term phenomenon.
Yes, and don't fall for it. If you're
Yes,
falling for it, okay, fall for it for the duration only. Time it
exactly.
and get it out of it. अरे
Right.
पैसा बनाने के लिए आया हम इंडस्ट्री के लिए. Make it money and come out of it. Don't be in that position. Okay यार, very simple. Next 20 years का जो भी होगा ना मिर्जा इंटरनेशनल पे, that has been recognized today only in the business. That kind of valuations are given. So just get it, make the top, and you cannot ride the party till the end. किधर तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा ना ये पार्टी हो गया है मेरे लिए, देन गेट आउट ऑफ इट. यू विल हैव लॉट ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी. वो शॉर्ट टर्म पे बना है ना, जाके मस्ती करने का उस पे. So let me come back. Big CFO numbers, but at a cost of working capital. So here I have a very interesting example. Sorry. Here I have a very interesting example. The company which I have it, let me ignore for this for a moment. But the company which I'm talking about, it's Somaya Industries. Look at their numbers. They had very great cash flow from operations. But the thing what they were doing, right? I would share it. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, yes. It's visible,
Okay.
Kaushik. Go ahead, go ahead.
Look at their cash flows. Somaya Industries. When I was looking at these cash flows, right? This year it was a positive number. Before that quarter come out, this was a positive number. But entire money, whatever the entire money, this was around 1,000 crores positive before this quarter was. Matlab, it was Q3 or 2022. At that time, this was a positive number, and look at what happened at that time. Their entire money was no, it was stuck in payables and receivables. अरे देखो इधर 2,793 crores they need to receive, and they look at their profits. 300 crores is 200 crores is what their profit. Here they have 800 crores. It's very simple. इस company का पूरा whatever the money that they need to receive, right? Or like their net profit is right, is actually receivables only. Receivables आया तो उनको profit बनेगा जो पुराना वाला business से बना. नहीं तो नहीं बनेगी, वो पूरा का पूरा लॉस है. And this company, look at the kind of ratios that they put on their number. Look at their ROCE, ROE. ROE and ROC is like 88%, 120%. Or with a face value of 10 rupees, this company is like looking like super undervalued. And even EV by EBITDA is looking undervalued. Price to book paid is looking undervalued. Look at the gross fixed asset turnover ratio. Look at their gross fixed asset turnover ratio. It's 61 times. मतलब 1 रुपए तुमने असेट पे डालेगा तो 61 रुपीस का सेल्स बनाएगा और पूरा सेल्स जाके रिसीवेबल्स पे बैठ जाएगा. This is what was happening with this company. And the company which I'm given an example, this is very interesting example. Look at this company. इनका कैश फ्लोस ना जो भी बन रहा था, इनका कैश फ्लोस जो भी इधर 695 वॉज बन रहा था, वो पूरा का पूरा मेजोरिटी वॉज गेटिंग स्टक इन देयर इन्वेंट्री और गेटिंग स्टक इन देयर रिसीवेबल्स. These are the two places. This comes on the asset side. And a company, the example what I don't want to name this company. That's the reason I have removed the name. This company was actually writing off their inventory every time. Last 3 साल से ये काम कर रहे हैं. Writing off your inventory, it's a very very bad phenomena. आपका इन्वेंट्री, आपको खुद का माल का फिनिश्ड गुड को रेट ऑफ कर रहे हो, नॉट इवन द वर्किंग प्रोग्रेस को. फिनिश्ड गुड पर कन्वर्ट हो चुकी है और उसको राइट ऑफ कर रहे हो. And see, raw material, for example, inventory के बनने से पहले there is something called as raw material. Raw material will get into working progress and working progress will become into finished goods. And this company का finished goods was getting write off. And raw material was even their valuation on raw materials, right? They were actually valuing their raw material at in a FIFO valuation method. I hope सबको FIFO is known, right?
Yeah, you can probably explain because I'm assuming some of them.
First in, first out is what FIFO. And something, for example, you bought a raw material today and the price of raw material was 100 rupees. But when you value your entire balance sheet pay this number, right, or in the cost of goods sold, there you used to do it in a FIFO model. Suddenly this company comes and tells you that raw material prices are increasing. ये ऐसे करेंगे तो हमारा कॉस्ट बहुत ज्यादा दिख रही है. Let us convert this entire FIFO into LIFO, last in first out. तो उसके वजह से ना their entire profit started looking boosting numbers, मतलब बहुत ज्यादा दिखने लग गया. This is called aggressive accounting, changing accounting policy and making your numbers in your favorable, and that gets into your margins increase. वो बहुत छोटा टाइम के लिए रहेगा, ये बहुत अग्रेसिव होती है. और फॉर एग्जांपल डबल डिस्काउंटिंग मॉडल, डिप्रिसिएशन पे दे वर यूजिंग डबल डिस्काउंटिंग मॉडल. सडनली दे कम एंड टेल दैट आई एम यूजिंग स्ट्राइट लाइन मेथड. Straight line method मतलब 100 rupees is the asset value. Over 10 years this asset will be used. So my asset will be like depreciated in next 10 years. So मतलब every year depreciation expense will be 10 rupees. So previously when the depreciation in double discounting model, the depreciation was 20 rupees. Now it is 10 rupees. Being 20 rupees, your entire profits used to look depressed. But now changing an accounting policy, your profit looks higher number. So be very careful here. That only I'm again telling. कल का सेल्स को आज रिकॉग्नाइज मत करना, कल का कॉस्ट को आज रिकॉग्नाइज करना परवाह नहीं चलेगा. Be aggressive at your cost, be conservative at your sales. So then you make your own P&L statement, then make your own balance sheet, then you make your own cash flows. There you get actually fantastic businesses. If you understand business, this actually works out. And this is the company you were supposed to do it like that. ये पूरा ना decreasing in their inventory was write off, decreasing in their receivables were written off, increase in their payables. Whenever they need to pay, they were not paying. They were like, okay, I'll pay you tomorrow, I'll pay you tomorrow, I'll pay you tomorrow. कल ना फिर से मैं उससे ज्यादा जाके खरीदना है, that guy will tell, just get lost from my place, I'll not give you at all. And DMart is not doing like this. So DMart ना उसका payables को मतलब सबसे इंडस्ट्री से पहले दे देता है. He pays 60 days, but industry pays him at 90 days or 120 days. So that's how DMart gets instant discount. They get like bulk discount. ये सब discount मिलता है, इसीलिए वो लोग आके फिर से दुकान में जाके आपको बड़ा discount पे दिखा के they attract again customers. See, by taking one entry into their favor, they actually passed on that benefit to customers and they made their sales also look very lucrative, bigger number. But matters is what is valuation, that we'll talk in upcoming slides. But if you
Koushik,
can find this business, it's great.
are you going to reveal the name of the company?
No, I'm not revealing the name of the company. So I'm not supposed to do that for this now because I'm actually having that company in my coverage.
Okay, okay. So I see someone in the chat box sharing the name. So maybe
Okay.
you can look at the chat box whenever you get time.
Okay.
Or maybe we'll discuss with the
In
person.
one-on-one it can be done, but not in a
Sure,
recording
sure.
mode.
Sure, sure. No problem. No problem. And I just wanted to share uh, a completely opposite example, which is even harder to know or pick as investor, is that Kaushik just mentioned about the inventory getting written off, right? Then there are cases where you have say 100 crore rupees inventory lying in the books, but the actual inventory is almost close to zero. And let me tell you how. Because the company is selling its product to either its promoter company in cash or something like that. So your books will show 100 crore inventory, but you as investor, you don't have access to look at their go down and go and see whether they actually have that kind of inventory. So this
Yes.
is far more difficult to pick as investors because we don't have access to there. But these
Yes.
are also things. और रियल लाइफ में ऐसा नहीं होगा कि 100 का जीरो दिखेगा, होगा ऐसा कि 400 का मतलब दिखेगा 400, बट मतलब बुक्स में 400 दिखेगा लेकिन एक्चुअल में 100 है, एंड
हाँ.
इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू ascertain that. So these are
So
also other problems which we have to be mindful of.
very, 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 very careful. Matlab, when you're actually investing in mid and small cap and micro cap investing like us, matlab, you have to be very sure. Matlab, inka company ka, make sure that you go and sit in their tela only. Go sit there and see how many lorries are coming in or how many lorries are going out. उनको मिलेगा तुम्हारा इन्वेंट्री का हेड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट को, जाके उनसे बात करो, फ्रेंडशिप करो, गेट योर हैक टू गेट ऑन द नंबर्स और लाइक आपका डेटा को वेरीफाई करने के लिए डू वॉट एवर यू कैन डू. That's more important in when you are investing in markets. And not only that, there might be sometimes that entire asset valuations will be available for you and उस asset का value ही नहीं रहेगा बाद में. You might be look like price to book might is in your favor, but that entire book is only made up. So be very careful there also. Your book should be like actual books. So you be aggressive on book, again be conservative on sales. So again this is very simple. Sales recognize बहुत सेफली रहो, कॉस्ट पे बहुत अग्रेसिव रहो और बुक पे भी बहुत अग्रेसिव रहो. गिव एज मच एज पीनल एज दैट यू कैन गिव इट टू देम. एंड वो बोलेगा 100 crores का इन्वेंट्री है, जस्ट सिंपली 30% डिस्काउंट दे देना इन्वेंट्री को डायरेक्ट, क्यों तो आपको ये डेटा तो मिलेगा रॉ मटेरियल को, रॉ मटेरियल का प्राइस दे सकते हो बिकॉज यू गेट द रॉ मटेरियल प्राइसेस, बट यू डोंट गेट वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का. जस्ट गिव 30% डिस्काउंट फॉर वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का जो भी वैल्यू नंबर दिखेगा. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू फिनिश गुड, जो मार्केट में सेल करेगा 125 रुपीज में सोचो, बट आप लोग ना 100 रुपीज पे वैल्यू करना उसको, देन यू पुट इट एज योर ओन बैलेंस शीट. हाँ, when you do your own balance sheet, right, there is something called as like it will never match. आपका assets and liabilities match नहीं करेगा. उससे ज्यादा don't go into that paralysis and अरे I have to be right with numbers. It is like because you are making it with your business understanding, जो भी नहीं मिलेगा ना वो जाके मैनेजमेंट से क्लैरिफाई करना, but it will never match. Your balance sheet will never match. So don't go into like it didn't match and I'm wrong. No, it is, you're not wrong. You're actually doing with your business numbers. So that's the reason it's not matching. So, here one more thing. Cash flow from operations divided by debt greater than 1. So here, look at this. For every 1 rupee, how much is my cash flow? If my cash flow is like I have 1 rupee debt and my cash flow is greater than that, that means that I'm actually debt-free company. According to me, it's my debt-free company. But finding this kind of companies is very, very difficult. But I'll give you a simple different thought process on how to calculate your interest or like कंपनी का डेट कितना होता है. You can actually call it as like efficient debt. इतना डेट रहेगा तो कंपनी को मैनेजेबल है, इससे ज्यादा डेट जाएगा तो it's a risky kind of business. Let's assume here Ankit bhai, like if possible can we speak, can we go one on one? I would ask some questions so that you will answer me.
Sure,
I
sure,
want
sure.
to,
No problem.
yes.
No problem.
So, Bhaiya, you think that you are making you are an employee and you are making a salary of 5 lakh per month, and you went for an housing loan. When you go for an housing loan, what will be the bank checking on you that to give you loan?
Obviously, my salary slip, receipt and all, whether I'm
So that
getting.
salary slip is nothing but the cash flow statement of you, because the cash comes into your bank account and cash goes out of your bank account. Then they will calculate, okay, itna cash to saving hota hai inko. 2 lakh is the expense of monthly expense what buyer is having. 3 lakh is what is your saving. In 3 lakh, इनका 3 lakh against he can actually pay EMI 3 lakh का, but he cannot वो एकदम जाके 3 lakh को EMI का sanction नहीं दे देगा, because buyer need 2 year of loan. 3 lakh का EMI नहीं होगा, so they will be on their safer side and they will tell 60% of this, or like 40% of this, or 50%. Let's take 50% is pay. 1 lakh 50 is what buyer can pay as an EMI, and 20 years, over the 20 years it will be like 2 CR का लोन के लिए सैंक्शन होगा. This is how banks calculate. Same logic companies पे भी यूज कर सकते हो. I'll show you how. See, interest expense, कंपनी का इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस तो बहुत इजीली मिल जाता है. जस्ट गो लुक एट देयर पियर्स. जो भी पियर्स का परसेंटेज पे दिखेगा आपको, इट्स वेरी क्लियर. एनुअल रिपोर्ट में 3 लाइंस पे स्टार मार्क के साथ बहुत छोटे में देता है. दिस इज माई कॉस्ट 12% फॉर दिस डेट, 14% फॉर दिस डेट. तो तुम लोग ना जाके ये बैक कैलकुलेट करना, टेक द वैल्यू ऑफ टोटल असेट, टोटल डेट एंड उसका कॉस्ट, उसका टोटल, देन यू टेक टोटल डेट का एड अप करो. एक साइड में डेट्स को ले लो, एक साइड में कॉस्ट ले लो, और एक साइड में उसका इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट आ जाएगा. और साथ ही साथ इसको टोटल डेट को एड अप कर दो और इंटरेस्ट को एड अप कर दो. इंटरेस्ट ऊपर डाल दो और डेट को नीचे डाल दो. फॉर एवरी 1 रुपी ऑफ डेट, हाउ मच इंटरेस्ट आर यू पेइंग, यू विल गेट एन इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट, राइट? This will be like average total interest cost for the company on the debt side. So you know very clearly you can do this for peers also. Then you will understand industry में मोटा मोटा आज तक तो शार्क टैंक आ रही है. सब लोग को तो बहुत शार्क टैंक फैसिनेटिंग है. सब लोग तो उधर देखते हैं ना, अरे यार डेट तो 12% में देते हैं लोग, बिकॉज डेट इंडिया में 12% में मिलता है. दैट इज द रीजन दे आर गिविंग एट 12%. दैट्स इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड्स. सो यू कैन बी वेरी सेफ. 12% विल बी द इंटरेस्ट. एंड अनदर वन, आप मुझे बस इससे शार्ट टैंक बोल के आई रिमेंबर समथिंग एल्स. यू रिमेंबर देयर वाज एन एफएसएड, सेकंड एफएसएड आई थिंक सो. उस पे देयर वाज वन मेकअप ब्रांड. दैट गाय इन्वेंट्री को, उसने पूरा इन्वेंट्री को एक्सपायरी डेट था करके 1 रुपए में फ्लैश सेल कर दिया. भाई बहुत दिमाग वाला आदमी था वो. You can also see in your real life companies, listed companies also doing that. There was one company did it, not recently but very old. They have sold their entire inventory at a flash sale. Flipkart also does this sometimes. You can see that. आता है ना big billion day and all. So okay, apart from that, interest cost, you know, 12%. If you know interest cost as 12%, cash flow from operations divided by interest cost should be 3. Be in secure like 1 रुपए इंटरेस्ट के लिए 3 रुपए तो एटलीस्ट कैश फ्लो बनना है. If you can't be so rigid, you can put that number to be 5. You wanted to be, मतलब कंपनी बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रहना है, फॉर एवरी 1 रुपी 5 रुपीज एटलीस्ट कैश फ्लोस बनाना है, देन गिव इट 5. मैं 5 को बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग मानता हूँ, बट दैट इज इम्पॉसिबल. अगेन दैट इज लाइक आई एम टेलिंग कंपनीज वेरी वेरी बेकार. So वो भी नहीं हो सकता है. So 3 is number that would work for me, and I'm working on 3 only. For every 1 rupee of interest, I need 3 rupees of cash flow from operations. तो interest cost तो हमको पता है 12% पे रहता है. कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेशंस में हमको पता है इस कंपनी का कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेशंस इज 100 रुपीज. सो टेल मी 100 रुपीज को डिवाइडेड बाय 3 बार करेंगे ना, दैट विल बी द इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस. दैट मच 33 रुपीज का 100 रुपीज डिवाइड बाय 33 रुपीज विल गिव 3 रुपीज. 3 as the multiple, right? So see, 100 in your interest expense, you know that company can actually bear 33 rupees. For example, इस मेरे पास इधर है 33 rupees interest company bear सकती है, and cost of capital is 12%. if का 100% होना है तो what will be the debt? Company debt level should be like 280 crores, 277 आ रही है. कंपनी का debt, efficient debt will be like 280 crores. इससे ज्यादा लेगा तो कंपनी को बहुत कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकती है. सो कंपनी का कॉस्ट बढ़ गया तो कुछ भी होगा तो ये प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत कुछ हो सकती है. सो यू बी वेरी क्लियर, लाइक इससे ज्यादा कंपनी नहीं जा. जस्ट डोंट गो विद दैट डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो. मैंने कर लिया बहुत डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो मेरा फेवरेबल पे मैं 0.5 से रहेगा तो मैं अच्छा इन्वेस्टमेंट है. अरे यार वो सब नहीं चलता है. There are companies who doesn't work with that model only. There are like company highly levered companies like banking and all करेंगे ना, they don't work with debt to equity ratios. They have to work with debt to cash flow ratios. Actual हम लोग जाके लोन भी पूछेंगे ना बैंक्स पे. When we go and ask loan to the bank also gives us in debt to cash flow ratios. They don't give a debt to equity ratio. मेरे पास I have an asset of 100 crores. Let me give you loan of whatever you want. मतलब 100 crores में 50 crores लोन दे दिया, बट मैं तो कमाई कुछ भी नहीं कमाई कर रहा हूँ. And this 100 crores being an fixed asset, that is also not generating any revenue. Then how will without generating revenue वाला में तू debt इतना रह सकते कितना बोल सकता है? कैसे बोल सकते हो? Like that is very illogical thought process. डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो मत देखो, कैश फ्लो. इस लॉजिकल वे से यू कैन कैलकुलेट व्हाट इज द एफिशिएंट डेट द कंपनी कैन टेक. इफ द कंपनी इज हैविंग डेट लोअर देन दिस, राइट, यू आर ऑन द सेफर साइड. इफ कंपनी इज गोइंग आउट ऑफ दैट, देन गो एंड आस्क मैनेजमेंट, भैया क्या कर रहे हो? अग्रेसिव ग्रोथ आ रही है क्या? तू ये करना जा रहा है, यू आर डाइल्यूटिंग माय इंटरेस्ट ना. That means that you should have that, you have to compensate me with the growth, higher growth. There is a company that I'm invested manufacturing में, capital goods contract manufacturer. This company is actually going to take debt. And मैं ये कंपनी को यही पूछा, like are you giving me growth, are you looking at growth, something very big तुम्हारे पास आया? ये कंपनी क्लियर कर बोला मेरे पास ऑर्डर बुक है इसीलिए मैं जा रहा हूँ इस डेट के लिए. हाँ, देन आई वाज लाइक ओके, मेरा डेट कंफर्टेबल से थोड़ा ऊपर चला गया, चलेगा मेरे लिए, बिकॉज मेरे लिए कॉम्पनसेट करने के लिए ग्रोथ आ रही है. एंड बी यू ट्रिगर, मतलब ऐसे सोचो, एक लिवर जैसे सोचो, आपको वैल्यूएशन पे आपको कैसे कंफर्टेबल लगा उसका वैल्यूएशन का जोश ले लेना, उधर आप एंटर करने के लिए कोशिश करो. दैट शुड बी द अप्रोच. दिस हैज बीन लाइक मैजिकल वर्किंग फॉर मी. लेट मी टेल यू, ये रेशियो मेरे लिए सबसे अच्छा चली है. दिस इज अनदर, दिस इज लाइक, ये मेरे लिए ना एलिमिनेटर को निकाल देता है. देयर इज ए कैश टैक्स वर्सेस इनकम टैक्स. P&L statement, we get something called as income tax expenses. For every 1 rupee of income tax expense that you do it on your P&L, right, there will be something that if you write 1 rupee as your tax expense, there should be in cash flow statement, there is something called as cash tax paid to the government. If this number, cash tax paid to the government, is not equivalent to 1 rupee, or if it is like 60 paisa also, it is 60 paisa also, अरे भैया तुम्हारा प्रॉफिट किया है इसीलिए तो तुम टैक्स पे कर रहे हो. There are some companies who tell that their income tax is like 100 crores, like 100 rupees, but when you look at their cash flow statement का cash tax rate, that will be like zero. ये zero हो सकता है only in startups. वो 5 साल का रेगुलेशन, गवर्नमेंट रेगुलेशंस एंड ऑल कम इन टू योर फेवर, और समथिंग लाइक your tax rate is like very low, you are somewhere located in something like Himalaya and you are giving employment in that place, तब गवर्नमेंट share some tax benefit with you, or else tax benefit इतना तुम्हारा फेवर में नहीं रहता. If you are making money, government will tell that you have to pay me. And here this is like 3 companies. I think this is from footwear industry, ye wala. I don't remember which sector is this. I'm forgetting, sorry about that. But look at this, cash tax divided by income tax. हर साल ना ये कंपनी जो भी कैश टैक्स बोल रही है उससे इनकम टैक्स बोल रही है उससे ज्यादा टैक्स पे कर रही है, नहीं तो उसका इक्विवेलेंट पे कर रहे हैं. और there is something called as, I take it this ratio as 0.6 is like minimum they need to pay on a cumulative basis. If they are like 0.6 के ऊपर, I am like okay, because there is something called as deferred tax asset and deferred tax liability. This comes when accounting standard का depreciation recognition or like some asset का recognitions are different, and like taxation recognitions are different. इसके वजह से deferred tax asset और deferred tax liability आपके फेवर पे आती है. So only that place you are like looking at this ratio as like a non-ratio. And let me tell you, in India there are 4,500 companies. Just go simple magic, ये करना आप लोग सब लोग जाके स्क्रीनर पे कर सकते हो. 4,500 companies to 800 companies are listed. Just take cash tax उनका नंबर स्क्रीनर पे डाल दो, मिल जाएगा. Take their income tax expense number, you will get that also in this one. You just do this ratio cumulatively for last 10 years. Tell me how much percent of companies will actually surpass this ratio. I'm also looking at chart. If you are like, उधर लिख सकते हो 25, like I don't know here from Street 25.
See.
मतलब okay, मतलब I don't know how did you catch it out. You are perfect. You are 28 answer. 28% of companies are actually paying taxes.
Koushik, we have a very knowledgeable audience. You asked
I
one
agree.
question earlier also. So there also everybody gave the right answer.
Yes, yes. So there is only 28% of the companies who are paying taxes above 60%. भैया मतलब तो पूरा 400 कंपनी 4000 कंपनी में तुमको 28% ही तो कंपनी के साथ काम करना है और उन्हीं को देखना है, उन्हीं का समझना है बिजनेस. तो हो गया ना. यू एक्चुअली एलिमिनेटेड. सी इन चार्ली मंगर टेल्स ना, टेल मी वेयर एवर आई डाई आई विल नेवर गो देयर. सिंपल, ये रेशियो वही है. Tell wherever you're going to die, don't go there. That's all. A forensic analysis is just that only. Tell wherever you can go and lose your money, don't go there. That's all. इसीलिए मेरे पहले स्लाइड पे बोला कितना, how much money has been lost by a lot of investors. And you know this Somaya, the thing what I was talking about, this was like one of my close friends husband told me about this company. And he's like, क्या पैसा बना रहे हो यार, like तुम लोग मार्केट में काम करते हो, see the company returns that I have done with Somaya Industries. And that's where his wife and me, we started working on this company and then told it, अरे भैया पैसा निकालो अभी, नहीं तो ये बहुत कुछ जाने वाले तेरे लिए. So luckily we timed the top. हो गया, हमारे गलती से मिल गया हमारे टॉप में निकलने के लिए. Yes, we made money. मतलब my friend husband made money in Somaya Industries. So next ratio, this is like cash tax का. I have written this in my LinkedIn पे है ये मेरा. Look at this. Cash tax expense night. Expense को कभी भी expense का number कैसे दिखेगा? It will look in negative value, right? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Koushik, you are audible.
Okay,
Go
okay,
ahead.
okay, okay. Whenever any company that you work with, it's very simple, right? Your expense is every time minus value. अरे मैजिकल कंपनी, इधर तो पॉजिटिव वैल्यू है और वो भी बोल रहे गवर्नमेंट मुझे पे कर रही है. एंड इसका कंपनी का टैक्स एक्सपेंस इफ यू लुक एट, राइट, दे आर लाइक नेगेटिव, मतलब देयर नंबर्स इज वेरी वेरी हाई. एंड हियर मैजिकली गवर्नमेंट इज पेइंग मनी टू द कंपनी एंड दिस इज लुकिंग इन देयर नंबर्स. दिस इज नॉट एनी क्लरिकल मिस्टेक नहीं है, ये स्क्रीनर का मिस्टेक नहीं है. मैं हम जाके वो कंपनी का नंबर्स भी देखेंगे ना, इट्स एक्चुअली द सेम. Government is paying this company. Wow, government is paying taxes on behalf, and वो भी tax expense पूरा उसको पॉकेट पे आ रहा है और वो जो गवर्नमेंट को पे करना है उसको पॉकेट पे आ रहा है. It's great. I call it as this is like super hero. मतलब इसका इस लेवल की अकाउंटिंग किसी ने मुझे सिखा दिया ना, I would love to learn that. I'm being very sarcastic here, like it was very crazy. हाँ, deferred tax asset divided by sales. अरे सबसे बड़ा red flag ना, you can actually find whenever you have deferred tax asset in your favor. Look at this company. I have an example here. Deferred tax asset is 100 crores. 20% is tax rate. PBT is company का 500 crores है. 100% इसका tax rate. For I'll explain you how is this working. If you have 100 crores of deferred tax asset and tax rate है आपका 20%, तो what will be your tax expenses? 20 crores. उस deferred tax asset revenue पे convert हो गया, मतलब deferred tax asset someday you have to reverse back, right? Then you have to claim 20% गवर्नमेंट को ज्यादा पे कर लिया आपने, वो क्लेम करना back you have to claim back because deferred tax asset पे मतलब you have paid lot of money to government, you have to claim back that 20% back to you. 20 crores को claim करना. इस कंपनी deferred tax asset को write off कर देती है. Think if company is writing off deferred tax asset, that means that it's a very big red flag. आप तो ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट को पे किया और उसको रीबैक नहीं कर रहे हो. दैट मीन्स दैट यू आर टेलिंग इनडायरेक्टली, यू आर टेलिंग दैट कंपनी को दैट यू कैन नॉट डू दिस मच सेल्स. यू कैन नॉट डू. फॉर दिस एग्जांपल, इफ डेफर्ड टैक्सेस इज 100 crores, 20% टैक्स रेट अज्यूम करेंगे, व्हाट विल बी द पीबीटी? कितना पीबीटी करेगा तो ये 100 crores को 20% क्लेम कर पाएंगे. सो दैट कम्स आउट टू बी 500 crores. Very clear, company is telling you that if deferred tax asset 100 crores is been written off, 500 crores का पीबीटी नहीं कर सकता हूं. Very clear on face, company is telling you cannot make 500 crores of PBT. So then खुद कंपनी खुद बोल रही है मैं नहीं बना पाऊंगा, इस कंपनी में जाके इन्वेस्ट क्यों करने का? So this again will safeguard you from going into pitfalls. Any questions still here?
I think there are many questions, Kausik, but I think it's 12:25. You complete the presentation and then we can open
So
up for all the
here,
Q&A.
here I have different kind of ratios that you can actually put on. But after this, I will be taking into my philosophy how I invest.
Sure,
So
sure,
I have
sure.
completed forensic. Broadly, I have completed forensic style. So I will go. There is one case. Okay, in investment, something. Be very careful whenever the company is writing off their assets, right? Be very careful. Look at that asset, why it is been written off. Writing off your asset is not आशामाशी, because आपका खुद का पैसा, आपका पूरा मेहनत और पसीना जाके वो पूरा कैपिटल रेस किया आपने, जाके इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटी में डाला, मतलब असेट्स क्रिएट किया, और उस असेट से सेल्स क्रिएट होती है, और उसी असेट को आप उड़ा दे रहे हो. It's very very crazy thing. Whenever someone writes
Kausik,
off assets, be
there
very
is a there is a request from someone that try to share the presentation when you are speaking. Most
okay.
of the time, the presentation is not visible.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. This is like everyone remember about NBI Industries. NBI Industries was actually holding 64% stake in Sri Cement पे. This company NBI वो Sri Cement का जो भी investment, in investment there are like again two things, quoted and unquoted. और unquoted में there are three things. There will be like something like startup investing हो गया, or else like unquoted investments, something like you have invested in some XYZ of asset which you can value, and there is something like you are valuing in a different kind of asset only, like matlab art gallery something on all you can invest. So look at quoted investments is like market prices are available, unquoted market prices are not available. You have to derive the unquoted. Just look unquoted as a percentage of investment ज्यादा रहेगा ना. Be very careful over there, and ये क्वेश्चन करते रहना ये इतना वैल्यू ऑफ असेट क्यों अनकोटेड में है, and there is like different logic company will use to value their unquoted numbers, and ask management मतलब why are you valuing this asset at this valuations, and get the clarity for yourself. If you are satisfied, then only see look into that company, because make sure as much as possible unquoted as a percentage of investments कम रहने का है देखो, that will be safer for you. And even quoted पे रह गया तो भी you will make money, no, nothing like that. There is an example quote, इसीलिए I have taken this example as NBI Industries का. This was a clear cut minority shareholders को was like मतलब batter कर दिया था minority shareholders. This everyone were not investing in Sri Cement, they were actually investing to NBI Industries to get a it was like holding company discount मिल रहा था, और अच्छा valuations was NBI was available, but NBI ना one day sells its NBI का management में Sri City बेचता है, and one day NBI sells its entire this unquoted वाला जो भी quoted वाला जो भी stake होता है to Sri Cement at an look at this they at 89 crores, which was actually valued at 3077 crores को 89 crores में बेच देता है. एंड ये एनसीएलटी केस पे बहुत ज्यादा केस चला था इस पे. Company will do crazy things. You have to ask questions to the management. Only thing in investing is to ask why.
Kaushik, you need to explain it in a very, as in explain it slowly, because I'm assuming many people would not have got the gist of this story. It is very important, so I would request you to repeat it and go slow on this so that people understand. Yeah.
Okay. There is a listed investment holding company called as Sri Cement, who was into cement sector, and Sri Cement ka business tha. And there was another company called as NBI Industries. Sri Cement's valuations were like very high. मतलब उनका stock prices का valuation market का was very high. People were actually buying Sri Cements through NBI. NBI was actually holding 64.72% of NBI. Because Sri Cement को NBI के through they were playing out as Sri Cement. They were directly not investing. Holding company discount was available. This discount was something around I remember seeing it around 60 to 70% discount. Let's think like this: Bajaj holding company you're buying to buy Bajaj Finance or any other Bajaj company. So like you're buying Tata Investments to buy any other Tata companies. You're playing in an indirect way to buy the listed companies of other companies who are like very highly valued. This discount will come when the and इसपे क्या होता है, like वो जो भी कंपनी का listed company का dividend वगैरह होगा NBI के पॉकेट्स पे आएगा और एनबीआई का पॉकेट से from the investors of NBI will get. So that was the setup, and everyone were happy to buy NBI Industries as considered as Shree Cement. But what happened in 2016 and 17? NBI sold off its shares in unlisted company, including Shree Capital Services Private Limited, another group holding company, to the promoter at a huge discount of 97%. जो एनबीआई के पास होल्डिंग पे था श्री सीमेंट का एक कंपनी को, उस कंपनी को एनबीआई सोल्ड दैट कंपनी एट ए 97% टू इट्स फेयर वैल्यू, मतलब इसका प्राइस टू बुक वैल्यू पे बोल रहे हैं, उसका फेयर वैल्यू वाज सोल्ड टू श्री सिटी एट ए हाईएस्ट डिस्काउंट ऑफ 97%. और ये ट्रांजैक्शन होने के 3 साल नहीं 2 साल के बाद इन्वेस्टर्स को पता चला है दैट इज समथिंग हैज हैपेंड. टिल दिस इन गवर्नेंस वाला लोग ये इसके ऊपर रिपोर्ट लेके आते, तब तक तो किसी के ऊपर पता भी नहीं था ये हो रहा था. 2 years के बाद people only came to know of this transaction के 2 years के बाद that something has happened like this, and everyone were in the assumption that buying NBI because they were getting Shree Cement at a good valuation. And जो भी value ना इसका NBI का value was 3077 crores, but the entire was sold to the promoter back at 89 crores. 89 crores में सेल कर दिया, जो वर्थ ऑफ 3000 crores, और माइनॉरिटी इन्वेस्टर्स को पूरा मतलब काट दिया उनका पॉकेट्स को. दैट वाज अ वेरी वेरी बैड थिंग व्हिच हैपेंड. सो दिस इज विद अ बिग कंपनी. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट श्री सीमेंट जैसे कंपनी के ऊपर. थिंग्स कैन हैपन एट एनी प्लेस. सो बी वेरी केयरफुल, लुक एट नंबर्स वेरी वेरी केयरफुली, एंड वो भी ना इन्वेस्टमेंट्स में कोटेड और अनकोटेड को बहुत ध्यान से देखो. एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू होल्डिंग कंपनीज, उनका कोटेड वैल्यूएशंस देखो. एंड म्यूचुअल फंड्स में दिया जाता है बहुत सारा जगह में. आई हैव एन एग्जांपल. कंपनी का धंधा है ऑटोमोबाइल्स पे, जाके इन्वेस्ट करते हैं म्यूचुअल फंड में. ये मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आता दिस कंपनी इज एन एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी और एन ऑटो मेकिंग कंपनी. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट अ बिग नेम. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट अ स्मॉल नेम. दिस इज अ बिग कंपनी. So this kind of things happens. You have to be very very careful. आपको उतना म्यूचुअल फंड मैनेज करना है तो जाके म्यूचुअल फंड कंपनी खोल लो ना. Why are you doing your auto business all together? चलो तुमको वो प्रॉफिट्स कमाए, वो प्रॉफिट का हकदार तो माइनॉरिटी इन्वेस्टर्स लाइक मी आर देयर. नो, you pay back us as a dividend. We will decide where to put that capital. Then why are you taking my decision in your favor and you are taking मेरा decision मेरे हक है ना वो, तुम क्यों मेरे हक को छीन रहे हो? Why are you taking your decisions on your own? This is
So,
also
Koushik, this is a very important point which you have touched. So I just wanted to know your view on this thing. So say if I am a company, I'm a manufacturing company, okay, chemical company, and I have a lot of cash flows.
yes.
Okay, and that cash flow I don't need in my business today, but maybe I'll use it for my capex sometime later, maybe 2 years down the line, and I'm putting that into mutual fund.
Yes.
So what is wrong in that?
No, yeah, this one to clarity company told na in 2 years I have the growth something coming into me, so that's the reason I'm putting in mutual fund. I'm talking about a big company, मतलब Pune based company, very well known, very well creation. This company tells that there is no growth, industry तो grow नहीं हो रही है, उनका growth तो नहीं मिल रही है, उनका sales उनकी growth से वो नहीं आ रहा है, ये तो पूरा कमा रहे हैं other income के वजह से, and that is coming all dividend और mutual fund का appreciations. अरे भैया, why are you taking मेरा हक, तुम क्यों ले रहे हो? I'm an investor to take my own hak, भैया.
Right.
Give it to me.
Right.
It's a very clear cut logic, sir.
No, that I agree, completely agree. If there is no
you are
growth,
telling 2 years में मेरे साथ आने वाला है, तो इसीलिए आप म्यूचुअल फंड में जा रहा हूँ. अरे you are a good company, you are going, you are having great cash flows. Like I'll give you example. PI Industries करती है, कभी-कभी उनका ग्रोथ मिलेगा तो वो they go and put their pockets into this mutual fund or something, और short term assets में डाल देते हैं. अरे that's good. Why? Because you tomorrow you are not coming and telling investors that I want to dilute or tell internal accruals. मैं तो dividend दे दिया, सब कुछ दे दिया, अभी मैं इक्विटी को डाइल्यूट कर दूंगा. ये बहुत खराब हो जाती है. अच्छा, तुम्हारा इंटरनल अक्रूवल से फंड करो, वो बहुत अच्छा होता है. तुम्हारा इक्विटी डाइल्यूट और डेट को लेके ये मत करो. So you are capping that. अरे that's good. But after 2 years if you see मैनेजमेंट बोला था, किया नहीं, तब तो तुमको क्वेश्चन पूछना ही पड़ेगा. बोल सकते 1 साल और डिले हो गया, 6 महीना डिले हो गया, ये तो होता है, बिजनेस है.
that is okay. If the management is saying that there is no growth, and that is why they are putting it into mutual fund, and
हाँ,
that's a
next
clear cut
question
red
mark.
flag.
And मैनेजमेंट बोलता है ग्रोथ है और ग्रोथ
Hmm.
दिखता ही नहीं, 10 साल से नहीं हो रही है ग्रोथ तो।
Exactly.
और
Exactly.
तब भी वो जाके नहीं मेरा पैसा नहीं दिएगा, ये तो मेरे दादा बाय करने वाला कंपनी बाय किया था कंपनी एक्चुअली। ये मेरे लिए ना सबसे बड़ा ऊपर नीचे जाती है, लाइक शुड आई सेल और क्या करूं समझ ही नहीं आता है मुझे।
Right, right.
इट इज
Yes.
असेट।
So Kaushik, you can probably complete your
Yes.
presentation,
Yes,
and
yes,
then
yes.
we'll take, because I see a lot of questions on the chat box.
Got it,
We'll
got it.
take one by one. Yeah.
Like audit fee as a percentage of revenue. If audit fee is growing as compared to its revenue, right? अरे इससे और सिंपल कर देता हूँ. There is a Nifty 50 company where I cannot name the company. Nifty 50 company है, and there is an Nifty 500 में और एक company है. दोनों कंपनी का auditor is same. Nifty 50 companies in multiple businesses, and Nifty 500 company which I'm talking about, they're in 4 businesses. This company is actually charging an auditor fee higher than the Nifty 50 company is getting. Very clear cut. This company, the company which is Nifty 500 company, is actually charging higher fees than the Nifty 50 company. तो हो सकता है कैसे भाई? You got the company, you avoid that company, don't invest in it. Some other kind of ratios that you can look at, cash conversion cycle. But everything again and again I'm talking about, you clean the data before you put these numbers onto their ratios and look at it. Cleaning data is very much important. Cash conversion cycle, look at, there might be companies which tells that I'm a negative working capital company, my cash conversion cycle is very in my favor. But this is happening just by not paying its payables, or writing of their receivables, तो or writing of their inventory. ये हो सकता है कि cash they can put it in their favor, but that is very very bad. आपको बहुत carefully उसको देखना पड़ेगा. And दूसरा thing was like goodwill as a percentage of total asset. Goodwill only comes into your balance sheet when you are actually buying someone else. And ये ऑटोमोबाइल में एक बड़ा कंपनी है, इसकी बहुत कहानी, बहुत अच्छा कहानी भी है, बहुत बुरा कहानी भी है. This company's goodwill as a percentage of total asset is very very high. But be very careful when your goodwill ना, इसको ना you'll write off over a 10-year or 20-year duration. And goodwill you had paid around, goodwill nothing but आप price to sales ratio पे देख रहे हो, company is doing 100 crores but you are paying company है 10,000 crores. एंड 10,000 crores 100 crores का रेवेन्यू बनाती है, 10,000 crores पे कर रहे हो, तो मतलब इतना साल कंपनी का वैल्यूएशन में मेरा नंबर आना है, मतलब you bought this company at an unfavorable valuations for yourself. Yes, if this company has something like Reliance did it with one of the recent acquisitions, what they did, उनका revenue was like 2 crores but they bought it at 300 crores is what I read it in a newspaper. This company had some kind of rights which can be potentially ये company use कर सकती है. But the example which I am talking about, this company didn't have any rights. They were just into same businesses. Customers भी like मतलब एक दो overlap ही हो रहा था. They were not getting so much benefit, but they were paying a premium of 20-30 times. मतलब 30 साल 20 साल तो मुझे रुकना पड़ेगा उतना रेवेन्यू आने के लिए. So again, be careful with this number. ये ना promote, look at board and compensation. अब इसी crazy example, हमको ना ये board और promoter का compensation, there will be like something like linked to stock price. If your stock price crosses this one, you will get this much kind of e-swaps, or like this e-swaps will be converted, or this much this one. Then तो only the management will be like very crazy to book their entire sales at an aggressive mode. सो बी वेरी 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 केयरफुल. ये कॉम्पनसेशन अच्छे से देखना, और ये कॉम्पनसेशन में ना सब लोग ना विल टेक ओनली द मैनेजमेंट पेमेंट, सैलरी को ले लेते हैं, बट दे फॉरगेट टू टेक ई स्वैप्स एंड ऑल एवरीथिंग. सो यू टेक कंसिडरेशन इनटू ई स्वैप्स एंड एवरीथिंग, देन लुक एट company what actually pays to this person, and is it actually worth. Very simple, I'll put it. I know a company, it's an SME company. कंपनी का जो बंदा बीकॉम पास आउट है उसका फैमिली मेंबर, and this guy is getting an salary greater than the person who is running the company, and बीकॉम graduate. and अभी अभी गुस्सा है, मतलब घुस के तो 1 साल भी नहीं होगा, मतलब 6 months 7 months, and he gets a salary greater than the person who runs the company just by becoming a director. So you ask these questions to the management to be very careful with it. loans and advances, भैया loans and advances to employees को दिया तो value that company are with very big izzat because he was giving to his own employees and creating emotional bonding with the employee with yourself at a good valuations. वो ऐसे नहीं रहना है like you are that उस employee को is not getting very great this deal outside, so I will give him at a very expensive deal. ये सब मत करना, but be very kind for your employees. So loans and advances for your employees is good, but loans and advances for the promoter is not so good. It is good till an extent, but not so good with an extent. Again, I'm talking about a Pune-based company. I'll not name this company. It's near not Pune, मतलब Maharashtra-based company. This company, holding company is there. There is a subsidiary company. Holding company's promoter took a loan from subsidiary company, and that subsidiary 100% subsidiary company, and that subsidiary company took that same amount of loan from the holding company at a cost of 12%, and promoter also took it at a cost of 12%. Promoter is paying only the loan amount but not the interest amount to the that subsidiary, but that subsidiary company is paying interest plus this one principal back to the holding company. So promoter directly बोल रहे मैं तो interest pay नहीं करने के लिए तैयार ही नहीं हूँ. It's my own company. I hold 75% of it, so I'll not pay interest. This also happens. Again, you have to be very इसका मतलब ये पूरा फ्रॉड भी नहीं होता है कि तो उसका खुद का कंपनी है, वो खुद के लिए इतना बड़ा वेल्थ क्रिएशन सब कुछ किया. He is taking loan for himself, or it might be a small loan, then neglect. If it is a very big loan and very big interest amount होगा तो then ask the questions. Don't go with that investment paralysis, मतलब बहुत minute level पे है उसको हम बहुत ये कर दिया. Don't be in like that also. Again, look at fixed cost and variable cost. Here you can work out on your operating leverage, financing leverage. ये leverage क्यों आ रही है कंपनी के लिए? Again, see operating leverage. I have an example like Wonderla. Wonderla बेचारा क्या ही कर सकता है. In last 5-6 years, whatever I am looking at this company, हर ना time ना like 2015 से I started looking at this company. Every time they get some other that kind of trouble. They have very great operating leverage. उनका operating leverage इसीलिए because their fixed cost is fixed cost. Their entire gross profit gets turns into their EBIT. ये पूरा से पूरा ज्यादा ट्रांसफर हो जाती है, बट इन सेंटर वॉट एवर द कॉस्ट दे हैव फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट दैट इज बीइंग वेरी लो, बट उनको एक्सपेंस होता ही है. So be very careful again at fixed cost to variable cost and look, ask the management, ये operating leverage मुझे लेना चाहिए क्या, ये मेरे लिए benefit है क्या, नहीं है क्या. As why only thing that saves from you your losses is asking why to the management. That's all. Until the time you are satisfied, keep asking why. By here I complete my forensic style of investing. These are the like websites and books that I would refer. If someone wants to learn how actually numbers work, right, how to read financial report, this is the best and the best classic book that you can read. ये बुक ना आप पढ़ लेंगे ना, आपको सारा अकाउंटिंग टर्म्स का एक एक लाइन आइटम का एंट्री, बैलेंस शीट में किधर जाएगा, कैश फ्लो में किधर जाएगा, क्यों जाएगा, कैसे जाएगा, वो सब दिया जाएगा. Like this one will actually help you to understand the entire financial statements, and you wanted to read some kind of scams and things whatever happened, ratios and all partner, then you have financial shenanigans. For style of investing, do read this one, Investing for Growth. This book will help you to develop your mindset for looking in the long term, कैसे business को देखना चाहिए करके. And these are the websites that I have taken help, and this is like very good source of resources that you can work on. From here on, I will start with my style of investing. Before that, if there is any question on forensic style, I would take it out.
I think Kaushik, you may finish with your presentation, okay, because question में क्या होता है ना, it has been such an interesting session and it's such an interesting topic. I am 100% sure once we go to the questions, na, you'll not be able to come back to your presentation.
Got it. So here now, secret sauce to find great businesses is what I call it for myself. मतलब ये तीन मैट्रिक्स आपको जो दिख रहे हैं, ये ट्रायंगल. I love to find this kind of companies for myself. If it is very clear, I find it, I grab them business at a great valuations for myself. So I need greater high ROCs, and very great management will share his business profits with us, and growth should be like fantastic for the company. मतलब ऐसे सोचो, ये बड़ा ओशन है एंड कंपनी छोटा है, उसका आरओसी उसका कंट्रोल पे है एंड उसको ग्रोथ को कैप्चर करने के लिए वो आरओसी उसको सपोर्ट कर रहा है. सो आरओसी being greater than their growth is in their favor. Again, if ROC is growth is greater than ROC, ये तो नेगेटिव फ्री कैश फ्लो कंपनी बनती है एंड वो बनने के लिए ग्रोथ बहुत ज्यादा है, इसीलिए बन रही है नेगेटिव फ्री कैश फ्लो कंपनी. सो इफ दिस थ्री कम इनटू माय फेवर, दैट्स वेयर आई वुड लुक एट. Or else there is one trigger off, two triggers are in my control, but ROC is not in my control, but expectation ROC is in my control. That means that I'm looking at something like a multi-bagger company. Or three triggers are off for me. Three are also like expected to be the greater. तो मतलब ये multi bagger देख रहा हूँ. I'm looking at it's a multi bagger, but in that kind of situations, if this three triggers में one trigger off, I will take in my portfolio position of 5%. If all three triggers are off, I'll take 3% position. If all triggers are in my favor, I'll take very high positions in my portfolio. That is how I invest for myself. So there was something that I found fascinating for Tata Motors. ये मेरे लिए बहुत ही अच्छा चला, to be very honest. This is where I accumulated the stock. Let me tell, market cap का इसका ना तब 45 to 50,000 crores था, but the sales the company was doing 20,000 crores, 2 lakh crores. Price to sales was like very low. Same year they paid employees worth 29,000 crores का employee को पे किया उन लोगों ने, और 29,000 crores they invested back into their business. तो मतलब ये दोनों ऐड भी करेंगे ना, ये 60,000 crores आती है, उससे भी कम I was getting this business. It's called net. I bought this company. Tata Motors, such a big company, because of economic event I got this deal. So look at the kind of returns that I have made for myself. इस स्टॉक में when we entered and the exit था हमारा, this was in my previous company, we made around 91.61% CAGR in this duration. The prices that what we entered is 145 to 150, but when we exited it was 420 to 450 rupees. Same sales being same, मतलब market cap इतना depressed हो गया था just because of an incident. We got it, we made it, but the biggest major mistake that we did it in our fund was that we were only invested 2% of our fund. We were like, अरे यार कुछ भी गलत हो गया तो क्या करेंगे, and our गलती भी बहुत बड़ा गलती था. When it was in COVID times में we were keeping cash up to 20%. We didn't invest that 20% only. That 20% didn't work for us only. So we made money, but things were like we didn't, when we invested only, we invested 2%. It was not such a great winner for us, but the business was fantastic. हमको पता है like Tata Motors is like largest seller for his division, and साथ ही साथ this kind of big company at this kind of valuations is like something like no brainer for us. Sometimes even numbers को देखने का भी जरूरत नहीं होता है. Just this kind of deals only comes in economic events. There is another company when we started investing. Okay, this slide has been crossed out. We started investing in the year 2018. We bought this company in 2018. Company in February sales were around 5,000 crores. उस साल का company ने sales किया था 5,000 crores. Company's market cap was available at 6,200 to 6,500 crores. This is where we started accumulating this company. Again, this is something like why I call this strategy is like price to sales मेरा favor में रहेगा तो ही मैं लूँगा, because see expectations are like very great तुम्हारा sales का, and ये जो भी sales है वो मेरा control पे sales है. These numbers are like very clear sales पे, and this company was putting capex and they were like doing a lot of new things. They invested very simple thing. They invested in one of their R&D. इन लोग क्या किया, ये स्टील को ना सर्कल में बना दिया, ट्यूब में बना दिया. दे क्रिएटेड ए न्यू मार्केट ऑल टुगेदर. इट वाज लाइक फैंटास्टिक ब्रेन, एंड ये चला ही नहीं हमको, बहुत लंबा समय तक ये नहीं चला. देयर वाज 2020 के बाद ना ये स्टॉक हमको ऐसे चल गया, लाइक दिस वाज लाइक अ मल्टी बैगर रिटर्न्स फॉर अस, एंड वी वर लकी, वी वर हैविंग इट ग्रेट दिस थिंग. एंड वो उन लोग ना when they worked very hard onto their business, they also started controlling on their working capital days. मतलब their cash conversion cycle. Look at their cash flows. Every time they were increasing, suddenly this is the place we started looking concentrated, and from here we started accumulating the stock. We actually ride it, and currently also my previous company is holding this company in their portfolio. Look at the kind of returns that this company has made. When we bought this company, look at the market cap, 6,300. हम लोग तब लेने के लिए कोशिश किया था ना. दिस इज द प्लेस दैट वी वर इंटरेस्टेड टू बाय बिकॉज मार्केट कैप सेल्स वाज 5,300 crores. मार्केट कैप वाज 6,300 crores. ये तो एकदम नेट वैल्यूएस में हमको मिला. बहुत अच्छा कंपनी था एंड their assets and their everything were in control. They're putting their money back into their business. That business was also lucrative, and they made this company, Apple Apollo Tubes. They gave their all the distributors one silver, pure silver का one लिखा हुआ है, and वो फ्रेम करके ना पूरा ऐसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स को उनका डीलर्स का दुकान में रख दिया. Whenever the dealer looks at that one, right, he was like fascinated. मतलब one, we want to become number one. मतलब ऐसे मोटिवेट करते हैं इन लोगों को. They started selling Apple. And इससे पहले APL in this tube industry it was like mafia kind of business. उसका ही सेल हो रहा था. डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर किसके साथ बहुत ज्यादा कंट्रोल था. This guy started solving first on the distributor level, then started coming on to ads. उसके बाद आके ad में इन्वेस्ट किया. उसके बाद एक्सपेंस ऑन द टीवी सब कुछ करके ये बिजनेस चलाया. बट उसके पहले द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन वाज कंट्रोल्ड बाय दैट बिग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स. ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स को एकदम मार दिया और डायरेक्ट बोला डीलर के साथ में काम करूंगा. He went on to the shopkeeper and he gave this one silver का ये. He took it to Dubai, ट्रिप भी लेके गया पूरा. They motivated the entire sales team to do aggressive sales for them, but not at a cost of credit sales. There were only, he was told that he will do it only on the sales in the cash terms. तो then we were looking at this. ये story बहुत इस 3 साल चल रहा था and then we were interested in इधर हमको valuation के साथ अच्छा मिलने लगा. That's where we started accumulating this company, and still this company has been holded by my previous company. This is darling में तो मेरे लिए दिल के लिए आती है. PI Industries. Look at what is this? Sales दिख रहा है आपको सब लोग को? I hope sales is visible. Look at the order book. This is in US. When you convert order book in Indian rupees, look at extra years. कंपनी का 700 रुपए का सेल किया है. कंपनी के पास 1400 का 1100 का सेल्स इज अवेलेबल. दैट मींस कंपनीज एक्स्ट्रा सेल्स कुछ भी नहीं किया. कंपनी नेक्स्ट 2 साल का सेल भी जो 1.6 इयर्स का सेल्स इज ऑलरेडी देयर इन देयर ऑर्डर बुक. एंड ये ऑर्डर बुक ना, इट वाज एक्चुअली लाइक कैश वाज नॉट गिवन टू दिस ऑर्डर बुक, बट ये ऑर्डर बुक का डिपेंडेंसी वाज वेरी क्लियर. दिस ऑर्डर बुक एक बार ऑर्डर दे दिया दैट यूएस कंपनी ये बैक ऑफ नहीं करता है बिकॉज उसका पीआई का जो भी बनता है इट्स एन एग्रोकेमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स का. This all is PI is just supplying to one company in US and that one company is supplying all over the world. उसका commitments all over the world है और वो already order book उसका पैसा US company के पास आ रही है पहले ही once in the short that all other world companies are paying this US company upfront in the money, and then this upfront company money is getting, that company is giving this to order to PI, and order PI का पूरा धंधा चलने के बाद they give it to this company and this US company supplies, and then the cash comes immediately. Look at this company, the extra order books. March 2020 के according मतलब next 2 years का sales already company के books पे था. And when we when we entered, right, when I entered it was in 2013. This is the year that I entered. You can take it as 2014 only because my December January 2013 pe I entered. So from there till date I'm playing this company, and current market price is 3,260 rupees, and this has been a very great investment for myself, and lot of assets that I have created for myself is from this.
Koushik, I have a question here now.
Yes.
So companies like PI industry, you go to the
Yes.
sharing the presentation.
Yes.
Yeah. So companies like PI Industries and Apollo, which you have shared, when do you sell?
Okay.
Or let's try to make a what I have learned from that book. I'm forgetting the name of the book. Thinking Fast and Slow, where he talks about pre-mortem technique.
Yes.
So just try to visualize into the future that what could go wrong with them, or what would be the scenarios where you will probably sell all these companies. So what would be those scenarios?
So first thing when I take my sell decision is something that I need cash for myself. Second sell decision is something that I would take. मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट ऐसे बन गया अभी के लिए लाइक their dividends are equivalent to whatever the market price that I bought, or like 3 साल का dividend is what the market price is what I bought. अभी वो बन गया है because I was holding it for such a long time. Even the small change in their stock price, right? They're like 100% change in my buy price. Think I bought it at 100 rupees. Now it is like 3,000 rupees. ये 3,200 हो गया तो मतलब मेरा 100 रुपीज मैंने इन्वेस्ट किया 2x पैसा बना दिया मैंने इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट पे और 2x नीचे भी हो गया मेरा if this 200 rupees goes down. So it has become like that. But the major sell decision when I take when management promise something and I wait for that time and उससे भी थोड़ा stretch करूंगा मेरा waiting time वो promise convert नहीं होगा ना, that's the point that I start selling. And whenever I find some hanky-panky things happening in the company, that's the reason forensics I look. Every year of forensics karte रहूंगा on the invested companies, on the potential investing companies, or like on the market generally, I'll keep doing it. So every 6
in
months
case
में
of
चलाते रहूंगा.
let's take the example of PI Industries. Assume that there is no hanky panky with the management. Everything is going smooth, and just that the company's valuation is now something which.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I would call it very simple. PI Industries, एक manufacturing, I call it as a manufacturing company. You can call it as like it's an agro company or like something else. But क्यों तो ये मेरे लिए manufacturing है because input and output is there. And this company is having like 29 different trucks. आज 32 है वो. Sorry for not updating that. 32 different kind of trucks they can do it in one single plant. And they're like currently it's the very big company. Matlab, it has become such a big player for me and it is big allocation in my own portfolio. But only simple thing when I start selling this company is that when I find very great opportunity for another company. But when will I send PI? I might sell this company when I feel if market cap is something like today's market cap is 50,000. What is the price to sales ratio? If you look at it is 8 or 9, something around. I will sell this company if this price to sales goes to 20-25. Clear cut.
Okay.
मेरे लिए
What
मतलब
were-
बाकी नहीं चलना है.
Okay, then let me rephrase my question. When you bought PI Industries in 2013-14, did you have any kind of foresight to see that PI will be trading at 8 times, 9 times sales?
No. I didn't have this. I never had that. But whenever I buy, right, I look at price to sales to be in my favor.
Okay. And
When
now you are not, so you will not be putting any fresh money at this valuation,
no.
right?
Never. I'll never put money in these valuations for the company.
Sure. That is what I wanted to know.
I'll not sell because ये बहुत बड़ा बन गया है. मतलब मेरे लिए वो डिविडेंड का इक्विवेलेंट बन गया है. Investment price is actually 3 years का डिविडेंड.
That's very good. That's very helpful also. Yeah, go ahead.
So, but in this valuations, I may not buy. I'll not buy at all, to be very honest.
Sure,
ये
sure,
मेरे
sure.
लिए, when will I buy PI Industries? When this number, can you look at this extra years of sales, your order book?
Yes.
This becomes
Yes.
10, right? If this becomes 10,
Right.
this becomes 10, and market cap being 50, then I'm buying it. Clear? Can आग close करो, buy करो.
Right.
और इनका ये भी है ना, 8% is just cash order book पे है. Look at their margins, like very clear. उनका margins जो भी बनाता है, वो already margins आज पे कर दिया है कंपनी को.
Right.
पहले मिल गया margins, तेरा profit पहले मिल गया, उसके बाद तो तेरा काम हो रहा है. That's another big point. And if again PI का एक और ये है, if their receivables and their payables के थोड़ा problems चल रही है अभी recent थोड़ा time पे, if that is becoming very big issue, because I have found some couple of greater investments for myself. If this one becomes very bigger, right, the issues what I'm finding it, जो भी उनका वडोदरा का plus उनका plant है उधर में I have my own side of setup. Like I have couple of friends over the time I've created that friendship over there, the dealers, the employees और जो भी है उधर मेरे लिए issue बहुत ज़्यादा दिखा. I am out of it. And again, I will not be like this. Okay, मैं एक बार खरीद लिया तो पूरा होल्डिंग करके रहूंगा. मेरे लिए तो घर बनाने के लिए आज मैं बिजनेस चालू करने के लिए कुछ पैसा चाहिए तो निकालो.
Sure.
Or like it might be something important that I need to gift. My sister is crazy. She's a very good photographer. If she likes to get I wanted to gift her a camera. So I'm going up to sell PI only first. पहला PI ही sell करूंगा मैंने.
Sure. So Kaushik, I hope you have covered all your presentation. Shall we
Yes, yes,
begin
yes,
with the questions?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, and it's already one. So let me know if we are
Yeah,
taking too
yeah,
much of
yeah.
your time.
Yes, yes,
So
yes. You can take on as well.
we we at SmartSync Services and Mission Smile have this rule that I don't decide the time. The guest and the audience decide the time. Okay, so I'll be there for a whole day if people are there discussing. Right,
Got
that is
it.
our rule.
Got it. But
So
I hope I didn't bore anyone with a lot of data and this thing.
no, going by
I agree, my
the
storytelling is little bit bad.
no, but some of the points and some of the examples which you shared were really interesting. And now I'll go with the questions, right?
Yes.
So Arun asks, which is a better metric for finding potential red flags, CFO by EBITDA or CFO by net worth, net profit?
Why I would call net profit by CFO by net profit because बहुत सिंपल है नेट प्रॉफिट से ऊपर रहना ही है उसको मैथमेटिकली EBITDA में क्या होता है लाइक डिप्रिसिएशन ऑलरेडी यू टेकन इनटू कंसीडरेशन एंड ऊपर आल्सो डिप्रिसिएशन विल बी देयर यू कैन नॉट डिसाइड दैट हाउ मच इट शुड बी इट विल ऑटोमेटिकली इट विल बी लाइक 100 और 120 और उसका बिलो रहता है नॉर्मली तो यू कैन नॉट डिसाइड ओके इट शुड बी 0.5 और इट शुड बी 0.8 उसका डिसीजन लेने में बहुत मुश्किल होती है एटलीस्ट यू कैन टेल दैट 100% से ऊपर रहना ही है नेट प्रॉफिट से तो ऊपर रहना ही है बिकॉज यू आर एडिंग डिप्रिसिएशन अमोर्टाइजेशन बैक सो आई वुड प्रेफर नेट प्रॉफिट ओवर देयर इजी
So
इट्स इजी वे
sure, sure, Kaushik. So Vishant asked that I believe EV to sales is right comparison than price to sales, even if revenue recognition is proper.
Yes, I agree with my friend. But EV में ना like EV, how is EV calculated? Enterprise value is calculated debt plus equity plus minus cash. But let me tell you equity how it is calculated. Equity is what DCF का जो भी करो valuation, you value the company. Again, you are actually coming in the valuation base
I
of it.
guess I guess over here equity is taken as market cap.
मार्केट कैप
आज
देन
का
आई वुड नॉट गो फॉर दैट नंबर इफ आई वुड गो फॉर दैट नंबर तो वो मेरे लिए टीटेम है ना दैट इज ऑल हिस्टोरिकल हिस्टोरिकल में फ्यूचर का कैसे उस पे प्रोजेक्ट कर लो यस समटाइम्स आई गेट इट इन वैल्यू बट आई वुड प्रीफर नॉट टू गो ओवर देयर आई वुड लव टू वैल्यू माय इक्विटी आई लव टू वैल्यू माय डेट एंड देन माइनस माय कैश एंड वो भी कैश जो माइनस करूंगा आई वुड अगेन कैलकुलेट दैट कैश इज एक्चुअली अकॉर्डिंग टू माय बैलेंस शीट वो कैश है क्या
so price to sales is better than EV to sales.
I
You
would
mean?
love price to sales and price to sales पे sales number is denominator which is that P&L statement. वो denominator sales conservative sales होना चाहिए. Don't give
Obviously.
aggressive sales. You calculate your own sales.
Yeah. So as you mentioned during the presentation, for
Yes.
data cleansing you have to do as an
Yes.
investor.
Data
Right.
cleansing is more important.
Right. So yeah. So pin analysis asks that do we get this info in the notes to account section? So
Yes.
I'll take this question. So directly कुछ नहीं लिखा हुआ रहता है. No, he's talking about that discussion which we were having regarding is my trip and
Okay.
revenue
Okay.
booking.
Okay.
So sometimes it is not very clearly mentioned, but as Kaushik mentioned, you have to use your logical mind as to how this company is making revenues, as in how does company is making business. So if a booking company which is just like आप ऐसे सोचो ना कि आपका जो ट्रैवल एजेंट है वो आपसे आप दिल्ली या बैंगलोर से मुंबई जाओगे और वापस आओगे तो टोटल टिकट्स का वैल्यू होता है करीब 15,000 समझ लो ठीक है 7,500 7,500 एंड ही विल मेक अ टोटल बिल ऑफ से 16,000 से समथिंग लाइक दैट so can you say that 16,000 is his revenue? No, it is not, right? 16,000 is not his revenue. So you will understand this much more clearly when you see things like this, right?
Then you look like
So
business.
yeah, so that is how some of the businesses do make a point of uh, increasing their sales to a certain extent, and we don't realize it because it is not clearly visible in the books or in the notes of account. But we have to then apply our logical mind, right?
Yes. You are right. You are right. Bhaiya.
Yeah. Next question would be: is lease liability a debt? So I also answered that lease liability is not a debt, but it's a fixed liability which you have to
ये तो कंपल्शन है, देख के जाओ.
Yeah, exactly.
डेट के जैसे ही है बट डेट नहीं है.
हाँ, डेट के जैसे ही है बट डेट नहीं है, राइट. That is a good way of. So Jignesh asks, in infra companies with long-term revenue generation, the ratio can be around 4 to 5x of cash flow. Is what I didn't understand the question. Jignesh,
Sorry,
do you
I
want
didn't
to?
understand that.
Jignesh, are you there? Let me just check. Yeah, Jignesh, I can unmute you and you can ask your question properly. You want to go ahead, Jignesh? I've unmuted you. You can ask your question if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
so yeah, I just wanted to understand, like he mentioned the ratio of 3x.
Mhm.
You're
Okay,
talking
that,
about cash flow by interest expense.
Yes, yes,
yes,
yes,
yes,
yes,
yes, yes.
Uh,
In manufacturing, it's okay, but where there are certain projects where you get over 15, 20 years the income, like transmission or any other projects. So in that, I think 4 to 5x can be a better thing
yes sir,
to.
yes sir. वो आपका इंडस्ट्री के अकॉर्डिंग यू हैव टू गो. मतलब मेरे अकॉर्डिंग आपका इंडस्ट्री के लिए हो सकता है वो 1-on-1 जाना पड़ेगा आपको. 1 rupee of interest expense should be the cash flow also 1 rupee.
True, true.
You can go according to your this one. I am comfortable with 3 because मैं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पे करता हूँ. मैं बहुत स्टूडेंट रहूंगा when it is 5. मतलब मैं if I tell 1 rupee of interest expense I need 5 rupees of cash flows, वो मेरे लिए बहुत rarely मिलती है. मिलेगा तो बहुत अच्छा है. But yeah, 3 is what I get it normally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jignesh. So I think we have covered all the chat box questions. Vishant has raised his hand. So Vishant, you can ask your question. I've unmuted you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is covered. I think I was asking about price to sales. The question was, see, price also coming from the way we discussed price to sales vis-a-vis EV to sales. This on account of the obviously the different capital structures both the different competitors might be having. Sir has explained that basically that the enterprise value is coming from the market itself, right? But in the similar line, the price is also coming from the market. So I couldn't understand how price to sales makes some better sense that compared to the EV to sales.
Okay. Okay. I would clarify here, sir. EV by sales पे I take debt also. I take मेरा balance sheet का cash also minus into it. So it's like market cap 100 crores रहेगा तो finally it comes to be like 50 crores का debt है and 50 crores का cash is out. Totally that EV comes to be 100. But when it comes to like this example तो बहुत easy हो गया. मैंने बहुत I made it wrong example. Let me put it like this. You have 100 crores market cap, 50 crores debt and 10 crores of cash. So your total EV comes out to be 140, right? On a TTM, मतलब historical basis पे. I don't believe that market जो भी दे रहे ना 100, वो 100 को मैं actual 100 नहीं believe करता हूँ. I would actually try to value that 100 into actually 100. वो 50 पे जो भी कंपनी देना है वो 50 को भी मैं वैल्यू करना चाहता हूँ. ये नॉर्मली वैल्यू डेट को वैल्यूएशन इज इजी हो जाता है बिकॉज वो डेट का नंबर जो दिया जाता है वो ही होता है. It's like you just मतलब you have taken 50 crores of debt, but उस debt में ना you already paid 10 crores. मतलब मेरे लिए ना वो debt 40 crores का ही होता है. I would only take that debt as मैं debt का EV by sales भी आपको करने के लिए होगा तो वो debt को लूंगा. और वो cash भी item है ना, मेरे लिए वो cash actually बैंक में रहना है. It's not like वो cash investment का cash वगैरह नहीं लेता मैं फिर से. So I would only tell that short term wala lot of people will take bank balance plus cash and that short term investments that they have done in the market which is like highly liquidable. मैं वो उसको भी हटा देता हूँ highly liquidable को because मेरे लिए ना वो भी again market sensitive material होता है. So when I do this and then take that EV now then I calculate exactly EV divided by sales. वो sales पे again I'll be very careful. वो I'll clean the data for sales as much as possible. उसको sales को डालूंगा. Then I'll see EV by sales क्या है. तो here ना I would never get a company which is like price to sales 1 से below है और like 1 के ऊपर मतलब 2-3 price to sales is 2-3 or something. I'll not get like this number. But EV by EBITDA में already debt भी added है minus cash किया गया है. This number looks very hyper. This looks greater than 1 or like 2 के ऊपर दिखता है normally. So I would उससे ना मेरा कैलकुलेशन बहुत अच्छे से नहीं बैठता. बट प्राइस टू सेल्स पे वो 1 के नीचे दिख रहे तो अरे यार मार्केट कैप तो बहुत फेवरेबल। फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने ऐसे कंपनी में किया लाइक पीआई सॉरी आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट एपल अपोलो सर। एपल अपोलो यू हैव सीन अ 6300 crores ऑफ मार्केट कैप, वो हिस्टोरिकल था, बट सेल्स आप जो 5300 देखे ना, हमारे अकॉर्डिंग 5300 नहीं था वो सेल्स, वो 4000 रुपीज था सेल्स। बट स्टिल अगेन वो 4000 रुपीज सेल्स के लिए 6300 ही पे कर रहे थे। नेक्स्ट साल भी 4000 कर लिया ना, वही 6300 रहेगा, तो भी हमारे लिए अकोमुलेशन पीरियड था। अरे यार ये तो अच्छा कंपनी, हम अच्छा वैल्यूएशन में ले लिया।
Right.
So for us, it was again price to sales ratio से मतलब बहुत easily बनता था.
Right. So, Kaushik, we have with us Mr. Atul Rawal. I think I've shared about him with you when we met last time. We
Yes.
discussed about him, and you discussed about his video being watched by
Yes. Yes.
fund managers in
Mumbai.
Mumbai as well. I'm not going to share the details because
Yes.
it's a recorded session. So Atulji has raised his hand. Atulji, I'm unmuting you. But before you asking your question, I would also want you to share some of your experience in the micro cap space in terms of what we have discussed today in today's presentation. Yeah, I've unmuted you. You can go ahead, Atulji.
Kaushik ji,
Hi sir, Atul sir. Hi sir. I actually before you asking me question, let me agree. Sir, आपका वीडियो तो मैंने I missed my flight, so I was coming by bus. मैं तो at least 3 times watch किया. Download करके वो भी.
oh,
I
thank you.
liked your video, sir.
Actually, I'm very much at the ground level, and I would love to share whatever I've gone through so far. Yes, very nice presentation by you.
Thanks, sir.
Both aspects are very critical to investing, and especially remaining out of track, which or we can compare it with landmines. So one while traveling across the investment field would suddenly encounter an landmine and will blow off everything. So I can share a screenshot. I'll love to do it.
Yeah, let me just give you the rights. Just a second. Make presenter. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, sir. I've given you the presenter right.
Just a moment. Let me do it.
No problem. No problem.
So,
So, by the time Atulji fixes up his presentation, I just want to share. So, Atulji's presentation and the session we had with him, the magic and miseries of the microcap space, where he basically distilled his 30-year experience in the microcap space. That video is by far the most watched video on our YouTube channel, and we have made it available free for all just because of that only, so that more and more people can learn about the possibilities and the dangers of microcap space. So we are very, very, very fortunate and blessed to have Atulji with us. Sir, whenever you are ready, let me know. We can start. Yes, Sri, it is there in the YouTube. Yeah,
okay.
Yes, sir. We can see your thing. Yeah.
Okay, here I have mentioned, I have not named the company itself, but as you can see, how promoters have been taking out the cash which is available with the company on one or other excuses. And so this is a case where just a 1 month, 20 days old company that they have formed with a capital of just 5 lakh rupees, and the listed company has bought 80% of it for 2 crore rupees. Company has not started working. Yeah, as you can see, the consolidated turnover of the company as per audited financial is 67 crore, and value of the proposed transaction is just 2.95 crore. That is one.
And sir, if I'm not wrong, it is the promoter group company of the listed company, right?
Yes, yes. And
Yes.
even during the previous year, the company earlier entered into related party transactions worth rupees 7.69 crore rupees. So in last year, apart from as Mohanji said rightly, that the salary of promoter group people who are either contributing to the real management or not, and they are taking. They have already taken out salary roughly 3.5 crore rupees.
Wow.
Additional 7.69 crore is through related party transaction. Now again they have proposed and that resolution is passed. So they will be investing 2 crore for 80% of their own company. So they had sold a subsidiary company for about 10 crore rupees. So that 10 crore cash was lying on the books, and now gradually that. On the other side, if you at the appropriate time, I will mention the name of the company also. Maybe interested people can just have some clue and search on it. But simultaneously, if you look at the announcements, that promoters are buying more equity from the market. So,
Exactly.
same.
Market gets excited that okay, promoter are buying. अभी तो ये अच्छी कंपनी है, इस पे ले लेना चाहिए, right?
Yes. So that would be a sort of landmine. When promoters are constantly buying, so there is something real good. And so maybe what I feel is that they can come out with something extraordinary announcement in future. Before that, they want to consolidate their own stake, but at the cost of funds of the company itself. So it is yet to be seen, and especially Mr. Kausik rightly mentioned that if promoters are not very transparent in corporate governance, so very difficult to predict anything in the future. So minority holders will be receiving it all the time. So yes, in fact, I have burnt my hands in 2 cases I had explained in that video. In
Yes,
that
sir.
webinar. It was merely saying that since the front company is real good, business is good, all parameters are fantastic, but it is raising debt, and arm length transaction is in such a good value that whatever has been raised in debt is transferred to the private parallel sister concern as a loan, which they will never return. So listed company will have to pay it back to the banks, and if not, ultimately it went to NCLT. So
So,
yes,
so I would just add up here, sir. The company which I was speaking, it is like Nifty 100 company. If that company can do this, small company are like.
yes. So especially in small and micro caps, we have to be very careful on such issues. That was the point I want to highlight.
Got it.
Thank you very much, Koushik. It was very interesting. I hope all of this mission smile
Sir,
members team.
and sir, we are waiting. Mission Smile members are waiting for our Tuesday Chintan Baitak session, our first session with you. So
I would
we are
also
pleased-
love to attend it, sir.
Yeah. So you are only going to become a part of Mission Smile after this session,
Thanks.
Koushik. So you'll also be there.
Sure.
Thank
I
you.
would just want to add one more point. As sir also, Atul sir has also, sir, if possible, can you go up? Wo promoter was taking money from the company and buying the equity of same company. For example, I have an example. I'll name the company Poshak. Look at Poshak. Poshak promoters are taking money in the form of loan. Promoters are taking money as a ये सबसे बड़ा मतलब सबसे good pharma company hold करता है इसको. These promoters are taking money from the management, मतलब business से loan उनका personal company पे, and that personal company is buying equity back into the promoter company, running company के लिए, and then increasing the equity shareholding. ये it's one kind of a good thing, but one kind of a bad thing also. खुद का कंपनी का लोन के नाम पे लेके वो लोग बढ़ा दिया, and whenever comes to that payment of that loan, they are like restructuring the loan, term increase कर दे, वो सब कर दिया. But growth इतना बढ़िया है, promoter wants to take the part of that growth, and he will is going I think he will go for that if it is needed. Then again उसका dilute नहीं होना चाहिए, और equity he might go, dilute नहीं होना चाहिए कर रहे, but this one is a red flag, clear cut red flag, but ये in the favor of promoter का बहुत ज्यादा पे है, but minority investor like us also can participate and take some benefit out of it. ये red flag है, but red flag can also be in your favor, so I just wanted to add on.
Yes, especially because अगर मैं भूल नहीं रहा हूँ तो उन्होंने अपना भी प्राइवेट कंपनी जब मर्ज किया Koushik में, that ratio was very much in favor of promoters.
Yes.
और उन्होंने अपना stake उस तरह से काफी ऊपर कर लिया था.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Red flag होने के बावजूद भी, because it performed very well, because first gen is
Very rare. मतलब बना पाएंगे easily, but it's like very
License नहीं मिलेगा.
hard to supply.
अब और किसी के लिए लाइसेंस मिलना बड़ा मुश्किल है
Yes.
फर्स्ट जिन के लिए. So
Yes.
it's a virtual monopoly, and it is holding company is such a big pharma company. In fact, the promoter had been on the board of big sport in India. So उनके काफी influence, but yes, it is very difficult to trust them for any future references. And if you have noticed, subsequently the listed company, the parent company has not performed well.
Yes.
Right. So incidentally, I had a relative working with that company. You see, it was a clear-cut view of the management that they are not distributing anything to anybody, any stakeholders, including employees. I had a relative in that company. He worked for 15 years, and they did not give a single promotion. This is a very peculiar case. And when another company, he was selected for that company at 3 positions higher. Straight away, 3 positions higher and 100% salary hike. Then immediately they also offered that, okay, we also will pay you the same. But till that time, they were not ready to give a single promotion. So management quality is a very, very important thing to me. And especially having burned these 2 cases, Gujarat Foil and Panium Cement. Yes, I would request all to look carefully to these aspects. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Atul sir. These were some really great example. Thank you. Hope to have you more regularly on our webinars.
Would love to do it whenever time permits.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Atulji. Thank you. So with this, we come to the end of the presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed it, Koushik, and thank you so much for working really hard for the presentation. And I'm sure, and why I'm saying that is that I know that Koushik was in Mumbai. He was supposed to come back day before yesterday. He missed his flight because of Mumbai traffic. He came in bus, but never did he say that, no, I'll not be able to prepare the presentation. And yesterday, whole day he sat and prepared the presentation, added some new points, and then he's ready today. So I really like your commitment and professionalism.
Thanks.
And I hope all of you, the listeners, you would have enjoyed the presentation. Thank you so much, all of you. Koushik, if you want to say something before we end the session.
To be very honest, ये मैं presentation देने से ज़्यादा I learned a lot because मुझे compel करने के time पे बहुत कुछ देखना पड़ा.
Right.
So I loved this, and thanks for giving this opportunity for me.
Great. Thank you so much, Koushik, and thank you so much all of you who were present in the meeting today, and on a Sunday spending 2.5 hours rather with us, and a wonderful presentation from Koushik, and I'm sure everybody learned a lot. Have a good weekend, spend some time with your family, and as Atul sir and Koushik mentioned, try to focus on these finer aspects about the companies, which will not be available on a screener, which will probably not be available in the annual reports also. Use your logic and try to dig in, right? With this, I would like to end the presentation. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.